Great, thank you. Okay. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order at 6:03. Hereby provided a written notice on the agenda of the public meeting as stated below. There's an opportunity for public comments as noted on the agenda and upon recognition by the presiding officer. There's upcoming meeting and events. Let's see, roll call.
Join without audio.
We're all here
You want
plus
audio on there?
Mike and.
No, you don't. So
This was to continue without,
Right.
that's it.
And then do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Okay,
I'll
Mark.
second it.
Kyle seconds. For discussion, I would like to, the discussion of the pickleball following the board meeting that landed under F instead of that should have been a number. So I would like to put that as number 1 instead of F. Yeah, but yes, I'll make a motion to do that. Make a motion to change it to number 1. And then,
Want a second?
Oh, second.
Oh, okay, either one.
yeah. Your second,
Second.
Nina. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that passes.
And it was Kyle and Nina.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Yeah, there's that.
So let's check it. They're on there.
It's my, he's turning my off.
That's your, that was your.
Yeah.
Can you look? 'Cause I only have an app, a Max. I don't know how that works.
Plugging it up there.
Look at what?
How does he turn his volume off? Or speakers?
Get speaker sound on or something.
Did you get it? No. I can't talk while that's going. There, did that work? Oh, that's better. Okay, thank you. It's like, mine's right there, and that's all I know.
It's right.
Okay. Public comment. I do have one public comment that I didn't put on the agenda from a couple months ago. I had an email from Tina Dalkey, Dalki. And she's a doctor of occupational therapy. She's a student and she's interested in what we are doing as an organization around the importance of outdoor play and leisure for children with disabilities and the accessibility of outdoor settings. She wanted to hear a little bit more about what we are doing and some features that we have. And she's curious about the St. Joseph Nature Preserve. And I honestly forgot about it for a while, and then I forgot to bring it up last month. Is this anything that I should talk with her, discuss? Is there any problems with doing that, or?
You know what?
I would suggest getting a little more information and tell her when we meet and invite her here. And suggest her that the meetings are on Zoom. And have her come and let's have a one-on-one with her, and we could even Zoom her in if.
Okay. Okay, anybody else, any other comments?
I think it's a good idea to move it there. It might be someone that we could use as a resource in the future.
Mhm.
So. that would be
Okay,
good.
okay, I'll do that. Okay. Any other public comment? Does anybody else have any public comment? Okay, monthly status reports, and anything committee meeting updates. I don't think I have anything from the board meeting, everything from the board meeting will be further on in the agenda. Ball field updates, I did send John an email asking him if there was any concerns or anything that they wanted to talk about or that they needed, and he said, no, they're great. Everything's going well. They're happy with everything. So. And I told him, I said, personally, I just love driving by and seeing the girls playing ball. It's just, yeah. Yes, so, so he didn't have anything there, and I can tell you later, but they are not able to do the fall festival because they have a tournament. And then 2023 budget impact fee balance. We'll talk about impact fees a little bit later. Oh, you just told me the balance, Lori. What was it? 30?
Just a minute. I sent you a text, so I can find that. $33,680.
Okay,
That was
33.
as of July 11th, 2023 printout.
So.
Okay.
33.
33,680.
33,680.
And then I'd like to look over the budget. I just told Mark to look over it a little bit more, but it looks good. There was just one thing. Signage is 778. I want to see what that's for. Because that probably needs to go. Oh, no, that's right. Trail system. Okay, so that's right, because everything that's for the preserve needs to go under that 3,000. So that is right. Okay.
Material, yes, was.
About 500, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So that I think I looked to see what that was, and that's,
Right, and then should have been another 400 for all the posts that I bought.
So would the 778 sound right for total? You can look at this.
Okay.
Because it'll be in this sheet, Kyle.
Oh, I probably have that.
So look at the other sheet and I'll make sure that I look at that to make sure.
Yeah, there was 2 charges.
Okay, volunteer opportunities and priorities. You talk about this while Mike's here. The kiosk posts and signage at the preserve. Currently working on, plan to complete the signage on July 21st at 9 a.m. Nina and Kyle put up most of the kiosk is put up and they put up the sign. It looks great. Kyle was showing pictures to everybody. It looks really, really nice. They did a really good job. And then at 9 a.m. on Friday, they're gonna put the signs on. And Mike, we have, are you available Friday at 9? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
And
it's no
that's
issue.
fine.
We have enough people.
That's
so-
fine, because
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. So I think we'll be fine, but yeah, I was waiting to see if Mark was coming, but you're not either. But that's still good. I mean, I think Kyle, you think you and John could probably do it.
you can.
And Nina has to tell you where the signs go.
I think the plan is to finish it Friday.
Mhm.
When I went back, I said, can we pick it up Thursday, because Friday we're going to be working. And it was another girl, and she said, yes, we'll be okay. So I was planning to call now, but they're already closed. But tomorrow morning I can call them one more time, so we're prepared in case we
And-
don't have it. We don't have to join them.
And I can pick things up
Yeah.
for
can
you.
pick it.
What
And
time
then-
are you meeting?
Well, I was gonna go there.
No, but the work on Friday.
It's 9.
Oh,
9
9 on
Friday?
Friday, correct.
Rain or shine.
And then
don't think
let's
there's
see,
any.
preserve, and we can talk more about we'll talk more about the preserve too. Is there anything else in the preserve that needs to be done for volunteers? Or anything that Mike could do or anybody at this time?
I think Friday should
Okay,
wipe it
So-
out for this year.
okay, and
so I
Go ahead.
when you're in the preserve, I noticed that we have some pretty big bull thistles and they're conveniently right beside the parking lot. And at the very least, if we go through and cut those blossoms off and bag them so that they don't explode, we can at least, kind of gain on it. There's a couple of different methods that people say for how to eradicate them. And one is I've heard they're biennial, which means if you keep clipping them off so they can't reseed, that would be one way. And the other one is they're hollow like a straw. And so once you clip them down is to take your chemicals, of course, and put them through the center of the plant. So, but at the very least, please clip off all those blossoms.
I do that because they're beautiful. I put in my vase and they don't harm anybody. Have you
Really?
seen that? Beautiful.
They really are. And when when they're full of finches and they're pulling off the fluff and
No, I
squawking,
have to remove them, that's for sure.
but
I
that's,
took
but
some
that,
with me home.
but that's at least how you manage them. And I
Okay.
didn't have loppers the day I was there taking the pictures, so.
Yeah.
You want to do that, Nina?
I will. Tomorrow, get some
Okay, and-
tools and some gloves.
Okay,
I have brush cleanup and I honestly don't know what that was from. It was from, I think, before, but I think it was the brush cleanup that was out here and some that was at, I think that's what that meant.
we haven't done, did you do Zealand, Mark?
But
Did
I'll
you?
get to that, Kyle.
Okay,
I'll get to that, sorry. And preserve work, we just kind of talked about that. Town hall brush and buckthorn cleanup. I think there's always some buckthorn here, right? That needs to be done at some point.
I think there's someone maybe in the backside. It's
We
pretty
have
good.
some
back-
young'uns coming up on the hill over here.
There's again.
So there's that needs to be done. The Thielen Cemetery is next on here. That needs to be done anytime now.
Yeah, if we could get a group together, I really think 2 to 3 hours max and we'd have that looking so much better. And I mean, just hand weed what we can and get the downfall out of there.
One thing we talked in the fall and very early, is there some of that gravel after they fix the road available, so we can put some of that,
Well, as you see, it's all sitting behind the town hall right now.
can we use some of that now?
Yeah, for the couple, I don't know, I would want to ask,
Okay, that's what I want.
but
What should we ask?
I will. So I'm gonna send Camille an email, right? So you want me also to send to whom my concerns on the trap rock sitting back there?
Sure.
And how much do you think honestly we would need there? And how would we get it from where it's at to the cemetery?
Well, if somebody
I have a
has,
tractor.
you have a tractor, you have a scoop.
Yeah.
And a trailer, we can
Yeah.
put some tarps underneath.
Cause a
scoop it on
couple,
On a trailer and then we'll go, because we can almost drive around there and put it out. Or with wheelbarrows, it's not that much. You think so?
We can try.
Okay.
Anything's possible.
well, what I will tell them is before they start, when they're finished top dressing the roads, before they start hauling it away and paying money and
Yeah.
to get rid of it, that we want to know.
Yep.
Because ours is compressed enough, we could put a pretty thick layer on there if just for the purpose of using it up.
For sure. Then someone would need to haul it if you're talking.
Well, that's what I said. We might have to, we might have to contract with like Todd or something to
right.
get it from point A to point B.
That would be a good.
But
option.
I'm not gonna work on the logistics. I'm just gonna find out what's available and if we can
Okay.
use it on the cemetery.
Yeah, well, I think,
Yeah, It's more than a
we've
small.
got
pile.
Yeah.
Why don't we take all of our budget to have Todd drop the file
I thought
over
it was
there?
like-
Well, that's what he was just saying too.
Cause it's,
I can get
Todd's
you
not
several
gonna
buckets.
charge
loads,
us that
but is
much.
that enough?
It's
Well,
done.
yeah, I don't
then we
know.
can go with wheelbarrows and bring, or
You don't think
So we have 1,200 budgeted.
Don't think we have to.
Only 1,200 or.
Well, it can't cost that much to get it from here to there and the town is already, they're gonna pay for it whether we use it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, some of that would be
so I
helpful.
think we should request Todd to do that.
Okay.
How would we do
Can-
that?
Lori, you can do that, right?
I'd glad to do that.
So does everybody in favor of having Todd just bring it?
Yeah,
Because we have the money in the budget to do that. We need the volunteer works for the
He
weeding
could
and all
probably
everything.
spread it
Okay.
too.
Well, he comes with a.
He comes with a Bobcat, so he could
and we
probably,
can just scoop it, we can just manually spread it, but we don't
So
have to.
would we
wait.
want to be there the day he does it? Would that want to be the volunteer day at the same time?
Yeah, I think it would be good because
We
then
can.
we are more people there.
Just curious.
So let's wait until the road project is finished and we have the trap rock there. Because if it sits
Okay.
there for a week or 2 weeks, it's not gonna hurt anything.
Okay, and then we'll come up with a date.
Then
after
that way you can give people a date and you'll know what you need to bring and
Okay, perfect. So, and then the next thing is, and we can talk a little bit more about that too when we get down to Thielen. I just want to get the volunteer part done. The Perch Lake, I don't have that on here, but Perch Lake has lots of weeding to be done. The stairs, and I had just noticed that the last time I went by there, it's the weeds are coming up in the stairs.
Yeah. I've
And the
seen
weeds
that.
are going over the, you can almost hardly see the stairs. It's not.
that's what
inviting.
I thought.
And then when I was just going through the outdoor rec plan and I saw the picture after it was done, I'm like, oh, it looks nothing like that.
Yeah, I
So,
drove by yesterday too,
Yeah.
and it needed some. cleaning.
so should we just ask volunteers to go there as needed, or
like,
do we want to do a
type
work
thing,
day?
or is there something
I
more
think I would
drastic?
rather pull it out.
Pull it out.
Pull it out. I would
Do we want to do a work day or work couple hours, or just ask people to stop by there and start weeding the site?
I don't think we should schedule a work day on time.
Okay,
Nina and I, the people that are in charge of that park, will talk and figure something out.
okay.
The other thing I noticed is all the thistle growing up in our park over here.
When did you notice that?
Week four.
Yeah, it's all done, Mike,
Well,
right?
yeah, it's back to back. On pot,
Oh,
all the rough patch cleaned up about 4 feet from it. Still that. And I don't there.
okay, thank you. I was gonna thank Mike for, I went and did some, and I'm like, oh, this is way too much for me, and I wanted to see if Kyle could come back with the whole, and then you came and did it, so thank you.
Couple couples there.
Oh.
And they really like, later on. And then where the slides gonna be. behind.
Yep,
Yes,
yep,
that's
eh,
Yep.
yep,
correct.
Yep. Okay, well, that's good. Good to hear.
Huh?
You've
Yeah.
just become an
And
ambassador
it's a
of the
thing.
Parks Department.
You both know, I both-
Yeah, yep, yes. Good. Well, thank you.
So-
Thank you.
Oh,
Yes.
So,
And I think we should do this stairs at Perch like the same way Nina and I.
okay, well, just, and I know some other people who are now registered as volunteers that live near there. I'll ask them to, if they wanted to stop by and pull some weeds, and so
Do you think
that's out there.
With the
you think that,
trimmer,
Janet, you can,
then harvest it, but some-
we can come up with some method of communication to the volunteers when we see a need like that, where
Yeah.
we can send out an email and say, you know, if you're gonna pick it up,
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I would love to do that, and because I thought about, because right now I text Mike and Tom and a couple other friends or the people on the committee.
because one of the things that I noticed at, and it happens to be St. Patrick's Church, that they have their volunteer list. And they
Yeah.
list out what the needs are, where it is and what time they expect or what they expect the outcome to
Yeah.
be. And then people just put in there, it goes out and you just put your name if you want to do that. And it seems to be pretty effective.
I think it was.
I don't know how it
think-
works though.
I think Justin brought it up at either one of our meetings or one of your meetings that there was, or to talk to the IT committee, or that someone could come up with a way we could do that. I think it was Justin at one of our meetings said, there's got to be a way to just,
Because we have
Or do an
people
email
that want
blast.
to do these things, they just
Yeah.
don't know what needs to be done and how to just go ahead and do it.
and then with our volunteer policy, they have to be signed up at some point. And then they also need to, technically, we need to know when they're gonna be volunteering. So I try to do that. I was gonna say, well, Mike will be there sometime this week, but I didn't. When I know we're doing a project out there, I tell Terry that we're out there, because that's what I'm supposed to do, but like, if you're gonna go to, we are all covered. It's people who are not members. If they're, like, if Mike goes to Perch Lake and starts pulling weeds, technically, they're supposed to know. But how do you
I
do
guess
that?
we're gonna
How do you
have to,
keep
we're
track
gonna
of
have to
all
have a
that?
further conversation at
Yeah.
a different agenda type of thing, so
It's
that,
best if they just do it and don't tell me, then you don't know.
Because I don't think that should be a concern. if
I was
somebody
gonna
just-
Well, I
say,
don't think so either.
we need to, and that's why I said this is gonna be a long discussion, and let's not start it
Yeah.
tonight, but
Yeah, and
I think to be a volunteer and to to have successful volunteers. We don't want to quelch the enthusiasm and their intent
Yeah.
with
Totally.
unnecessary encumbrances.
Yeah, well, I agree. So, but yet I have. to
So
follow
I
the
think
rules.
that would be a good future
So-
discussion to see how and to what degree.
And I can, in the meantime, talk to, is Justin's, is he the person with the IT committee? Or is it someone else now? Or is it Matt?
Well, Justin will always talk IT.
Yeah,
And Matt seems to have good exposure, and John Ringhofer on the Plan Commission is big, and of course our Mary
Yeah.
is.
yeah,
And I,
yes.
between all of them and their Anton, so between all of them, and they're familiar with all these different software programs or how we go about it. So I'm sure
Okay.
that they'd be willing to help us.
Okay, I'll look into that so that I can do that, because like I said, now I know more people who are interested.
It just occurred to me that mentioning that people come and go and do it by themselves, I think if we have two kind of volunteer work to be done, if anything doesn't need any tools or trimmers or thing people can build themselves, that has to be scheduled up. But if somebody wants to walk to the park and remove weeds and put in a plastic bag and throw it away,
They should do it.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Just do
yeah,
it.
I
So
agree.
if we have a list of things they can do, whether they're walking around or whatever, then they know, and that can be just put a paper here in the front, so they say, this is what still has to be done. Whoever walks by. Photo.
Yeah, but no one's gonna walk by here, but
No?
that's a good idea. No, I think it needs to be an
Yeah.
email or something like that.
Newsletter.
Yeah, well,
That's
no,
all.
the newsletter's twice a year and not everybody gets that.
Okay.
But yeah, there's gotta be a way to do that. So I'll work on that. Okay, anything else volunteer wise or specific? So Mike, one other thing I was gonna ask you to do was, for the fall festival, we have these big, signs or big wooden signs that, we used in the past, and we're going to use a few of them again. But there's no way to post them or put them up. Carolyn said years ago when they used them, her and her husband used some post and a zip tie, and I thought, well, maybe there's an easier way to do that, and I was gonna see if that's something you'd be interested in. Well, unfortunately, they're locked. Let me see if Terry got back. Oh, she said it's in the office, but that's
I
locked.
can stop by
But
in that office.
yeah, it was yes, they would know if, but maybe I can communicate with you, or Kyle, and I can meet you here and I can give you one of those signs, and then, are you interested in at least looking into that? Okay, that'd be great. So I'll be in touch with you on that. Okay, anything else volunteer wise for now? Okay, good. Well, you're free to do what you want. You can stay or head out, unless you want to hear about the pickleball.
Go ahead, do it. That's something.
Oh.
That's something regarding the September.
You can go ahead.
Oh, so is St. Joseph gonna have a table? for the township?
The Fall Fest. you mean?
You mean,
Their fall, yeah. Fall fest.
what you mean is the parks
I mean,
committee?
like, if someone could get a table representing St. Joseph Township.
Well, the plan commission is gonna have a booth. I don't think the parks actually is gonna have a booth, 'cause they're putting it on, but is that what you mean?
Anyway, I thought, when I left the house, I got rid of that, my wife. And she said, well, yeah, blah, 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 and then, but she thought, maybe. There could be something, some sort of bag or a box, something with, say. Someone needs a handyman or two.
Oh.
Like it's really part of. Is there somebody that say sells honey, or someone has a vegetable garden?
Oh, that's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Community garden. So they can kind of bring people together. If I don't know, I can't do something. Fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
But that's what she said.
I think it'd be easy enough for us to put a table in here. If we're gonna have like historical things and stuff in here, we could have a table that you know, people could post stuff or put their cards there or something. I think that would be easy enough to do.
Yeah, and one thing that when Lori has started, she's doing a services that are provided in the area and has started a list of that. So that those two things could maybe go together.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, so
Perfect.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Do you want to help man it or head it up?
For me,
Do you want to volunteer at it or help with it?
not necessarily.
Okay.
Yep.
But that's gonna be a, maybe a pancake breakfast.
Yep, yep, yes.
Think about it, a little off there, because our grandson got it. Here, one also gonna be in the sprouts, so
Oh,
might do a little bit. I don't want to time myself up.
yep,
So
Got it.
okay.
Janet, I have a card box that's Hudson High School blue with silver stars on it and a ribbon that we could just put there and put a sign on the front of it that says, do you live in the town of St. Joseph? And do you do just kind of what you just said? And it says, please leave your business card in, put your business card in here.
Mhm. And then that's something that the town would just have.
So,
Yeah, we'd have that information like on the website then. or
it's like we
something.
live on 5 acres, all rent mine, no place for a garden, and I can't. See, there's no place for a garden.
Yeah.
It's kind of garden, fun, but. Maybe other people like that, who are like a little chunk of dirt by the table or something.
Mhm.
No, I can't hang out there.
Yeah, yes, well, that's a great idea. So I can put that down on there. When we talk to the fall festival, we'll bring that up.
Yeah.
Garden bus. Killing.
Good.
It's a spray on, that's right about that, all sprays on the leaves, they're dead. The other one is like, you have something off the side, spray the trunk of this, and I can do any kind of dirt, you know, and that will die us. And, but it'll be dead. Yeah. Seems like it'll be dead.
Okay.
I suspect
Like
I'm
what
using
we've
this.
done in the past?
No,
You mean like what we've done? in the
No.
past?
I keep running till this, till I found out about this stuff, which was. During the last spring, I used it around and but if I didn't. Pull it, cut it down to the dirt, painted on the ground, and it's gone. This stuff, I can still do that, but if you have this, I have a whole bunch of stuff that bought that fall. I sprayed it, then I went through it, I sheet the lawnmower, shaved it down, it's gone, yeah. And then the stuff here, I sprayed. Deeper in my woods, I've got a furnace. On this side, but anywhere from down that far out, it's great. And I got that 2 weeks later, and ate them all. Like
Okay.
this fall, well, shriveled up.
What, do you know what it's called?
I do it home, one's called Remy. And that's the one you would spray, but you would spray it in fall.
Right.
Yeah.
It is more effective when it's closer to ground, but it's closer to what's, but this hits the leaves and. Yeah.
So
and I'm doing,
It's still standing, but it's dead.
I found out the same thing and I tried it on all my volunteer ash that came up everywhere along, and I tried it on my back fence on the buckthorn, same thing, browned it right off. And then last summer, I sprayed some pretty good sized ones with the trunk, same thing. And now I just learned that when you get those big ones, that they said to cut them off if you could about knee high and then paint the whole top of it, and it's more effective. So I'm gonna try that next. But it works great.
Anyways.
Okay.
I bought a. Couple gallons of stuff. You only use 6 ounces. per
Yeah.
gallon.
That's the same one I'm using.
So if you wanted me to do it, I could bring a gallon of water, spray all of it.
Yeah, it was expensive by the gallon,
Okay.
but it was a
long-
Do we need to make a decision on that or?
Okay, what are your-
What?
I don't think so.
I was.
No decision needs to be made. It's information.
Anyways.
think we're doing the same thing.
Okay, sounds good. Yep, that's it. I'll let you know when we know the date on the, on Thielen Cemetery. And if there's a date that Kyle wants to do some buckthorn here, he can get a hold of, one of us will get a hold of you.
All right.
So,
Alright.
thank you
Alright.
very much. And I'll get a hold of you on that sign.
Thank you.
For all you're doing.
Yes, and thanks again for doing the playground.
Okay, leave more with that.
Yeah, when I saw it was thistles in the playground, I was like, oh no, I don't want thistles here.
Another place I went to is a gathering space.
Okay, where?
The gathering space by Holton School.
Oh, okay, yeah, that can look scrappy. Okay, so now we're at number 1,
Should we
discuss.
do the
Oh,
minute
yeah,
things?
okay. I realized I didn't do the approval of the meeting minutes from last month and the month before. You guys all have copies of them. Do you want to quickly look through them, May 17th and June 21st? And let me know if you have any corrections or if they look okay, unless you looked at them online. Oh, it's got-
I'm gone.
We had very salty bacon for supper. I left my water bottle. Okay, let me know when you're ready. Or you can make a motion when you're ready.
Well, I wasn't at the 21st. Do we do them separately or together?
You can do it separately.
Oh, I'll make a motion to approve May 17th. 2023.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
I forgot to say discussion. Okay, the June 21st. I can make a motion to approve the June 21st minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, they both pass. Thank you. Okay, now we can discuss pickleball. I thought we were gonna have a huge discussion on this, on the slide and all that first, but they're not here, so. So you can go up to the microphone if you want. And
Is this under?
do you want to recap from the meetings?
So where do you want to start? So recap from the meeting. We did a presentation to the town board. Prior to that, some people had sent in emails of, yes, let's have pickleball courts, and some were, no, do not increase our taxes. So we had a fairly decent showing of about 8 to 10 people at the meeting in addition to us. So that was nice to see some additional community support. And some of those people did get up and stand as well and express their support. And then you can maybe weigh in on this. You know, there were a few people on the committee that didn't know what pickleball was, but we did do presentation, I'm afraid, was very brief and very rushed.
Teresa had the control of the stuff.
Yeah, so I had to talk really fast and I don't think I got a chance to cover everything.
You did really well.
I think so I'm not quite sure if the folks that didn't know what pickleball was really know what it is at this point in time, but it was in the slide. You know, when we asked them so we covered in the presentation, we covered what is pickleball? Why is it important to St. Joseph Township? It was similar to the presentation that you saw, only we scaled it back and that we only showed the one Ivy Wood Park from Lake Elmo that had the 2 courts, since that's what we're recommending is 2 courts. We went through what the cost considerations were that we need to think about. And then we gave them a very rough range of costs in the research that we've done. We've not been able to dive deep into the costs. So if on one online calculator that said it would be about $40,000 for 2 courts with fencing all around. Another calculator, the sport court, which is a specialized type of flooring and that type of thing, they were up more like 120,000. The Stantec gave us a rough estimate of what they thought it might be based on some work that they've done with 18 courts.
Yeah, he said they're doing a project in Maple Grove with 18 courts.
And their price range was roughly, I think, 60, 70,000 type of range. When we asked the town board, you know, what they thought our next step should be, some of the pushback we got was using this space right out in front of us because there's a lot of football players that apparently play there in the fall. I'm not sure who they are. I would contend that there's a whole baseball field they could use as well, but we didn't bring that up. So there's been some looking to see if we could move the courts to the other side of the trees and then reconfigure rather than having them 2 courts side by side, having 2 courts, one in front and one in back. And I played on a court like that last night. And then what you do is you put a net or a fence between the 2 courts and it worked just fine. I think
It did.
we had a normal size net and the ball went into the other court maybe twice. Now it's a bunch of people my age that were playing, so we're not very aggressive players. Maybe if you get some pros, you might need a higher fence in between, but it worked out just fine.
Okay.
The other question that we got was, or the information they requested of us was how many pickleball courts are in a 15-mile radius and how often are they used? Someone stood up and said they thought 15 miles is a little excessive to have to drive to play pickleball. So I think it got scaled back to 10 miles, but I'm not really quite sure. I have created a list of what I know and shared it with Janet
Yeah.
and Pat. I already have one to add to that. Bayport does have a pickleball court and it's basically, they took an old tennis court and they threw down a bunch of lines. And the court has got big ridges in it. And I won't play there because to me, it looks just too dangerous. But many of the pickleball courts we have in the, I wouldn't say in the area. I think the closest one is like 7 miles. 5.7 miles is Bayport. That's the closest from my house. 6 miles is North Hudson, and I have not gone down to see it. But most of the pickleball courts are reconditioned tennis courts is what most of them have done. So I do have a list and I'm trying to do some research. I've reached out to both North Hudson. I had already reached out to Somerset and I reached out now to Hudson proper to ask them if they have an idea of how often pickleball courts are used, because I mean, I can go sit at a court all day with a clicker, but that I don't know how to get that information. Yeah. I can tell you last night I played in Stillwater through Staples Court, which is 6.6 miles. And there were 12 people there playing pickleball.
And how many courts?
They have 4 courts.
Oh,
So 3 of the
okay.
4 courts were booked. And then they have a tennis court that had some people playing on.
Okay,
So
okay.
there's a lot of, I actually recommend it as a place to play if we can't get something here. It was nice. It was in the shade but it is just in a neighborhood type of thing.
Okay.
So I think, I'm not quite sure what the board really is expecting from that question of how many pickleball courts are there and how effectively, how often are they used? Because I don't know how to gather that information other than to just ask the township or city that owns it. So for example, when I had talked to Somerset, his response to me was we permanently converted a tennis court. Their first come, first serve. And in his case, there's been no discussion of adding more courts. It seems like the pickleball courts are used often, certainly more than the tennis court. Is that a good enough answer for that question that we've been asked?
I think
I don't know.
I'm involved in the conversation. And, there's a group of elderly people that went down to the village hall to request, investment in some nets. Then I think there were several groups, the American Legion and the Rotary turned around and bought the equipment to convert, they have a net in the back that they move up. Do the pickleball.
But now they have a permanent one. Is that who
I
said
think
that?
they do. I think Somerset now has
He
permanent.
said they had a temporary net that people could wheel out under the tennis courts. This
Yep.
worked out okay, except they were kind of flimsy and were constantly in disrepair. So currently, yeah, so now they have a,
So just last week, they converted
yeah.
one of the courts into pickleball. But I drive by there and pickleball is used more than tennis
Mhm.
right now.
Well, especially when you think that even though 3 courts, it was 12 people, whereas tennis is 2.
Yeah.
So you,
There's an active group that's playing there and they're there quite often.
Mhm.
So I don't think that there's a need for somebody to stand by the court right now.
That's pretty much what was asked of us, I think. What you say, Lori? It says St. Anne's School has one.
So
Are
I
they
found that
available?
online, but I have not been able to find out. I went to their website. I didn't see anything on their website. I was gonna drive there, but trying to get to St. Anne's School, it's like, you gotta come in by helicopter, I think.
The town
Really
is
can't-
divided.
The town's divided. And
Well, if you
we're-
came up the other side and
we're really-
around. I've gotten to the Dick's supermarket, but I don't know how to get to Dairy Queen.
Oh, you
Soon
get
I
through
was
the
gonna
Dairy
visit
Queen, if you
Chris
keep
Martin
going straight, you can
And
get there.
figured it was a 6-mile drive to go see him. So I
Oh.
decided not to.
Oh,
It's a mess.
okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's kind
I
of.
mean, I don't know. I mean, that definitely what was asked, but I don't think that that's gonna be, I mean. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, you mean, should Mark every time he goes by, say, well, I was here on this day and. I mean, we could do the same with the playground.
Right.
When all these people that say it never gets used, it's like, I don't know, every time I go by here. And just like Mike said, he was pulling weeds and there was
Yeah.
people there.
Can I just clarify when you say you disagree with what do you disagree with?
When the comments are made that no one uses the playground, I disagree with that statement.
Yeah, so it's like, well, what did you just stand out there and say, well, I was here this day and there were people here. I think what you're doing is appropriate to
Okay.
do that.
Yep, I've sent out a lot of emails today to try and get to the town or the city or whatever and say, how often is it used? Are you looking at getting more? I thought that would be a good indicator of it, if
Well,
it's used a lot.
And to me, just the idea that everyone is building them, every community right now is building them, so that
Yeah.
there's a need or they wouldn't be doing that.
Right, and I know Lake Elmo has many, and they're still building more. So they're getting asked for more and more. Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how we could move the picnic tables out of the pavilion and put in nets,
That's creative thinking.
That is.
but I
And-
don't think it's quite big enough.
Not.
Or high enough.
Excuse me, Lori, I don't know I don't think you heard this part. We have now are now thinking about this area on the other side of these trees. Not the area out here, and then the courts would be back to back instead of side to side. So there's an area in between
It
these
drops
trees
down and then it
the-
flattens out again. It's mowed. And it's about the right width and it's about 100 feet long.
That's, Nina had suggested that and asked us. to
Yeah, I
look
went
at
there
that.
with the roller to measure more or less and how much space was left over. Here by where those big stones are from there on south, there's room for that. One after the other.
It's actually,
And like they mentioned, that you don't get the sun in your face, so.
And the end,
Right.
end seems like a better deal than side by side.
yeah,
But it
yeah.
seems like a better utilization of footage, so.
Yeah, I liked it, and I think it's kind of more tucked away, so if someone, because even, I mean, I said this, when you sit here, it just looks so nice. But then people playing pickleball looks nice to me also, but when it's there, it's not as sticking out or whatever, it's just a little bit
Yeah.
more tucked away, which I think is supposed for both, better
And it will be
aesthetically.
more visible
and-
from the road, so people say, oh, that's,
Yeah.
it's going
Yeah.
to try it.
So one of the other things the town board was concerned about was the usage of the land and I don't, Nelson rec requirements. I wasn't sure what that was, or
Well-
maybe I'm just stating that wrong.
You mean the Knowles Nelson part? I'm looking.
Yeah, whatever
into
that is.
Yep, I'm doing that. I have a note out to them, a
Okay.
letter out to them.
Just to make sure we don't have.
Oh, wait a minute, you sent them a letter
No, I sent an email.
to Knowles Nelson
No, to the DNR, Wisconsin DNR.
on this 24 acres?
Why?
Okay.
Because, well, Teresa said we have to know if it can even be allowed, because it's supposed to be passive recreation.
Okay,
I read the whole thing and I initially just said, I made it very generic, and she said, well, I can't give you that information unless I know exactly where it is.
But the passive recreation, I understand that the playground is not passive recreation.
playground is on a different parcel than the
No,
brick.
no, playground's
No, I
included,
think
just the
playground
ball
is the
field
same
is
part on here, so.
Okay.
the Building, and what is behind, and I have the certified plan here somewhere
Oh,
from years ago,
Yeah.
when we started thinking about that, so. Having it over there should not be a problem. I don't think that.
so what you're saying, Janet, that 24 acres over there already has the pavilion and the playground on it?
Yep, it does.
Wasn't that the original land bought from Center years ago? So it was farmland.
I came here and asked Terry how to find it and she didn't know. And then I was gonna ask Teresa and then I remembered that Gail, I think, or somebody had that all in our outdoor rec planner. And so I found it. So that's what I sent.
And I
her.
do have some additional records right from the office in there. I didn't get everything I requested, but I've got some on that parcel.
So let's see, the northern 10 acres was the location of the original town hall and school. Then additional acreage was acquired in 1978 to expand the town hall facility and add recreation space. The ball field was established in 1981 using town funds. An additional 24 acres was acquired in 1995 as a nature preserve using the Wisconsin DNR Knowles Nelson grant. In 1996, with assistance and support from the DNR and Pheasants Forever, approximately 15 acres was seeded using native prairie grasses and flowers. The prairie and wetland areas provide habitat for wildlife. The playground, restrooms, and pavilion were installed in 2002.
Oh, good. Well, then that's maybe better than we think.
And they got
Things
right
are-
back to me initially. Now I haven't heard. This was on Tuesday.
So and then hopefully moving it, I mean, the other concern was the usage of that area, whether it be the 4-H group was there once a month, some boys playing football. We don't know about other scheduled users. The other thing that was brought up was what about a future expansion of the town building? And would that area over there be needed for that?
Well, again, I don't think they'll use that land if that was a Knowles Nelson and there's, and I was also reading on it that you can't purchase it or you can't sell it. Or buy, you can't buy, I don't know, there was a lot of regulations. So what you think, Lori, they wouldn't use that area? I don't think they can use that area.
I was gonna say, I'm
I'm
kind of to the point, if we're gonna have discussions, I want to make sure that what we're discussing in public is correct. Because it's sort of hard to retract bad information and start over. So, yeah,
Yeah.
and I do have some paperwork on specifically to this property that's legal paperwork.
Okay.
So we could confirm that because
Yeah,
I'm
that'd be
surprised,
great.
I'm surprised that we only have 15 acres in restoration because I thought it was a much larger piece.
Okay,
And
yeah,
on the maps that I had seen, that doesn't kind of,
Cause that's,
the aerials that I see don't align with that thought. So,
yeah, if you have that and want to look that up, that'd be
And
great,
there's a-
or share that information.
yes, I have no problem with sharing it. It's a matter of gathering it up.
Getting a final decision on is that and even an option is probably the highest priority.
Well, I would guess, I'm hoping since you've already reached out to them, they're gonna come back with generic examples of what is acceptable, and then they're gonna come back and say, if you want to do something with this, here is the process or the forms you need to complete.
Yeah,
And I
that's
do
what
know there's a magic number of 20 or 25 years in there, which we're well past
Okay.
on ownership of
Oh.
that property.
Okay, well, good, so hope to,
But again,
and I'll share with everyone when I get it.
I think it's super important that we have documentation and very accurate information,
Oh, the
so.
registered.
Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, I didn't want to keep doing any more work if that was a done deal, you
Yeah.
know. if that
Is
was-
there any other alternative locations that the town owns? If this doesn't pan out? Or,
I don't think so. I
Highway
don't-
35.
What about land over?
That front part,
Yeah,
So this.
I mean, I don't think that's probably too low,
well,
but
that's not the most desirable with it having the wetland there. There's also the whole house or the septic system is all out there.
yeah, so.
I'm not clear where the well is specifically.
Yeah, so I don't know. And Nina, do you know if there'd be any other areas? In any other either town parks? I mean, Chris
So
Marshall
how
brought up
much-
the
how much-
preserve and I don't want the preserve. I mean, because that's, for one thing, I liked the sense of community here, you know?
well, especially with all, it complements everything else
Yeah,
that's here,
yeah,
right? So it's a
yes.
good,
You got a parking lot.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the map from the county, and I think that part here is not an act in passive, how do you say that?
Passive recreation or
Passive
passive use?
recreation. it's part of the active where we have the playground right now.
Okay,
So if that is the case, if the playground isn't an active area, we can put the pickleball around with no problem. Because,
yeah,
and if not, can we ask for a variance because it makes sense to put it by the road?
yeah, but that's what Lori was just saying. Hopefully when they get back to
Sorry,
me.
I was looking at them trying to. find
Yeah,
my-
that's okay. Hopefully when they get back to me, they will, you know, say that. If they say no, but this is what you can do, or, yeah, you know, whatever. But yeah,
I can
definitely.
overlay the two maps, like I said to Mark, and see what we have now and where would that fall, so.
Yeah, okay.
We did not get a chance to talk to the town board really about costs other than what was in the presentation and budgeting. You know, some of my thoughts is could we do this as can we at least get Stan Tech to provide us a decent bid versus a 1/9 of an 18 court type of thing? I assume that costs money, you know, is there an opportunity to spend, you know, X amount of money to get this really better understood? That would also allow us to start applying for grants. The Pickleball Association that put in the courts down at Camp St. Croix, out on their website, they have a great list of donors and
Yeah.
grants that I pulled. So there are a lot of options. If those people don't feel all tapped out, to everything from Anderson to Royal Credit Union to Excel Energy, St. Croix Electric. I mean, it's a great list of potential places that we could get grant money. And, you know, I don't know if if we can get 50% grants, is there an option of 50% to fund the rest? I don't understand how your whole budget process works. If you guys have your own budget, if it all has to be the township owns the budget. I just don't know how any of
We
that
have,
works.
we have our own budget. We have to stay within that budget.
Okay.
Are
there competing projects for next year that this would be competing with that we have to worry
well,
about?
not at this time because we've been having big projects. The only thing would be, we've been working, we had the TAP grant for bike trails to extend, from the loop trail. And then that got, taken back. I don't know if the right word is.
Rejected it.
So we will want to do that again, and so I'll need money for that, but it won't, but that money again will only be for applying and all that, because we wouldn't do it till the following year, so it wouldn't be, so I don't think we'll have a big budget for next year. Because we're done with the playground, I mean, we'll have the usual stuff.
Yeah, and that was one of the
Nothing bigger.
concerns from the town board was, we can't do that now. We can't do this now. But let's get done what we want to do. And yeah, that's totally, I totally get that. This is,
Yeah.
and we would need that for grants anyway. The sooner we can know, we can start applying for grants, but a lot of that won't come in until
I
next
think
year.
when you apply for grant, you have to know more or less when you want to implement it, correct?
Right.
And going back to your comment that maybe Stantec can provide us for bids or so on. We have to think that will include the cost quite a bit.
Hmm.
Because the first project was Stantec will help us out with the drawings and everything. The second project now that eventually we did it without Stantec, used their maps from the first part. But they did not, we didn't volunteer because we couldn't afford it.
Sure.
So
But
We-
we had Stantec at some point.
we had Stantec the first part. And
Yeah.
we had the drawings how to install the second part. too.
Yeah.
That was already done.
Are you required to use them for?
Well, I think that we would be required to use an engineering firm. We're not required to use Stantec, but it's usually easiest.
Sure, because they
The
tell
other-
you and.
The other thing is, Janet, when you're discussing in that, what you're looking for are proposals from other people, not bids, because bid is a different word than a
Yeah.
proposal
So
with
proposal.
different legal procedures attached to the word bid.
Yeah. So a proposal from Stantec on giving us, you know, on what this would cost, like on, is this a good place to have it? You know, how would it look there? You know, they kind of do all that, the groundwork.
Sure.
I don't know, what do you guys think that would cost? It's probably about almost everything they've done for us is around 5,000.
Stantec will charge $10,000.
5,000.
It is.
And
It's been
4,500 is the magic number with them.
4,500,
Then you
because
don't
they've been
act up.
doing it. I mean, and it's not a huge
Mhm.
area. It's not, it should not be that much, I would think.
It's really a the Stantec situation with different bids that we've done haven't worked. Right now, we're out of the box. We're trying to do a slide, see if it works, saving us 50% of the money on it. If we're successful, it possibly could open the door for your project here to be done a different way with the grant, different funding.
Mark, but you're so far away from the mic that we cannot hear
So
you.
what I was saying was, we've got this project and the slide going on, and we're going in a direction we haven't gone here. If we're successful at this, I think you've got a real strong point to come back on trying
So
different.
you're saying to do it without Stantec?
No, not yet.
Okay.
You have to be very careful on talking about professional firms. But I do think that right now we're trying something new. And if we're successful at this, we could possibly look at other projects that we could save money on and get them done.
Mhm.
And we're only a few weeks away from this project.
Yep.
Now, we
So-
were kicked around for 3 years on this slide. And it went up, double, triple.
Close to
Yeah,
4
but
years.
that wasn't all Stantec's doing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you'd never blame
I mean-
anybody, but I do think that a few of the board members opened up the door for opening projects like this to be done in-house.
Sure.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
right
I think the problem
So-
with in-house is we don't have an expert, right? And if we had someone who's like, oh, we've already built that here, like Lake Elmo, they outsourced it to begin with to get one done. And they watched it and went, oh, all right, now we can do that, but they have internal engineers. I think that's a
Yeah,
little harder
yeah,
for a smaller
exactly.
community.
Well, what about one of the companies that you got a bid from, or like, or some, at least, they said who they used. You know,
That's
they
what
did
the
this-
Hudson Pickleball folks said they used some asphalt company, and that's what I just made a note on to see if I could follow up with them for the Camp St. Croix, because those are one of the few brand new courts. Many of the other courts are just remodeled tennis courts,
Because you're right, because maybe the company has that.
right?
Yeah, some companies has their way of installing the drawings and everything because they want to
Yeah.
streamline those projects.
Yep.
Right.
They're very simple. It's a flat surface.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. What, Lori?
What would be your goal for this year? Because my thought is. I already have in my mind if I was gonna put a line, if there was gonna be an item on the budget. For 2024, or that we would bring up in 24 with completion, but for a 2025 project. My concern, it is the concern, all I wanna know is. What line item, what's the number you wanna put in the budget on the line?
Well, it's hard to know when we don't have an idea what that could be. I mean, we had the 40,000 to 60,000 to 80,000.
Right. Yeah, I think we need to do a little more,
And
we
we
need to
could-
do more homework there.
And we could say, I guess what in my mind, I'm thinking, if we put 40,000 in the budget and then we get the rest with grants and. You know, try to get the rest with grants, if we could say, you know, we want 40,000 in our budget for next year for this. But you know, whatever it comes to, we'll try to get with grants or even more, but with grants.
Well,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know that.
What goals are you finishing up on, but,
Yeah, that's.
and are you planning on using any impact fees for this type of project?
Well, it's a good plan.
Because
I kind of have
if
been,
you want 1 quart, you want 1 quart or 2 quarts.
we want to, it's not gonna save that much to do one.
And I think there's been enough discussion and enough put out. And enough communities around us that we should be able, for the purpose of budgeting and discussion. At some point, you have to put yourself out there and take a chance and start talking about a number that's a reality. This is, you know,
Yeah.
what if there are no grants? What if there's no donations there? And it's just
Then
flat across.
Then we don't do it, I guess. I don't
Flat
know.
across the board coming out of the budget. That's the number.
So where you mentioned it at Stantec, approximately say it was 75,000 for a 2 quart or 1
So you
quart?
talked to them. Do you remember what their
I
number
think that's
was?
what it was.
Let me see if I have it in my.
75,000?
That's a huge difference if it's 1 quart or 2 quarts. If it's 2 quarts for 75,000, it means like between 40 and 60. That's what you were talking.
Theirs was 60 to 75,000 plus the engineering
Plus
Yeah.
the engineering.
for 2 quarts.
Is that, yeah. you
For 2
wanna be
quarts.
very specific that
Yep.
you spell out how
Yeah.
many quarts that whole.
I'm assuming you gave them the requirements that we put out, 2 quarts, fencing all around, that type
Yeah,
of thing.
so he,
Yeah.
so there was like, he said they went to the website sportmaster.net, which I think that was the same that you had said. $15 a square foot, $40 a square foot. They just recently took bids in Michigan and Maple Grove. A very rough estimate for construction, not including design or engineering, could be somewhere between 60,000 and 75,000 for 2 courts, based on the bids that I looked at. This includes fence and asphalt.
So then we have to guesstimate engineering, how much they would charge to do that for engineering.
Yeah, and yep, unless it was a company that, you know, this is what they do is pickleball courts. And then they come
Yeah.
out and do, and that would maybe be a bid, and maybe they have engineering, maybe they have all that.
And
Maybe
there
it's
are-
a
I
one and
think
done
that's,
deal.
I think that's something that.
I
we
like that
need to
idea.
Take a step back and look at, are we reaching out and talking to companies that do this and it's all inclusive?
Yeah,
For instance, I think. I don't want to read it. I think there was a chance for, I think it's something we have not tried that we need to go back and look at, because when they did the playground the last time, that's what it was. This company, that's what they did, they came in, they knocked it
Yeah.
out. And there weren't all these other.
oh, no,
There were no engineering. in-
like we
in
could have,
2000.
like we could have gone with Game Time, and they did it, that was a one and done shop deal. But we chose not to, so then you have to have the engineering and all
Yeah.
that, so yeah, so there's definitely, so that's something.
Well, I'll continue to look. Sport court's the only one I've found that's kind of that all inclusive that's in our area. I found some that were in other parts of the nation, but I don't think we want to pull some company from North Carolina to have
No.
them.
No,
No,
that
no.
would cost.
sorry, I
too
was
much.
looking outside.
My car got hailed on a week ago. Is it gonna get hailed on again?
Wow, it's-
Going through now, it's sheets going through.
Look at that.
I'm gonna be here for a while.
Yeah, you are.
So the
Good
only other
idea.
thing I had on the list was, there's 2 things. One, do we want to start, you talked about a pickleball friends group.
Yeah.
Is that like a Facebook community
I
or a?
guess whatever, and it's only because we are held, you know, as you know, we have to, you know, we can't even meet 3 of us without it being,
With quorum.
you know, an agenda and all that.
Mhm.
You could do that, you can meet anywhere, do anything, there's no rules. I think that would be a good idea to do that. We kind of have, I think one of our previous members kind of did that with, the preserve and stuff too. Sorry, I'm so distracted.
No, it's, I don't blame you. I'm glad my back is to
When
that.
Kyle goes, then I get nervous.
Oh, yeah, but lots of rain.
There's lots of rain.
I was just sending a text message to. Pam.
Lots of wind. Can I get home?
But Lori, do you think that's a good idea to do a friends group kind of thing, that's just them, just.
Our windows
just-
are closed because we turned
No.
the AC on.
You could, I think, do a subcommittee, but
Just leave it the
absolutely
way-
do not
Straight-
follow the
Okay.
friends group.
Okay, so I don't care what you call, but just so that you, yeah,
I hope.
and then, you know,
realize it.
report to
Just-
me,
just-
or we'd still be very, very involved. You could have meetings outside of our meetings if you wanted. Yeah, what's a subcommittee? What rules are they held to?
We don't, she doesn't want to go there.
Subcommittee, because.
I would say, first,
I don't think there's hail, just.
You should be able to have a good conversation, I think it's not a part of a committee.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
for
true.
it.
It's when we talk about it or when you're
You can
here.
do it if
So-
you want. No.
No, I'm not.
Turn around,
going
get
to
a committee's
it.
part
It's
of
like-
the committee, then we throw rules, regulations.
Yeah.
People that have a common interest
Mhm.
that are trying to bring forth.
Take a picture.
So I guess, however. I don't know, that was just a thought.
With, you know, 3 of us in, that, their group. And that's where it gets dicey, but
Yeah.
again, you're not. We have no authority to make a decision.
Right.
No.
And we're not gonna make decisions without you because we don't have any money.
Yeah, well,
We can't do anything.
exactly, well,
We can't spend any money.
Right.
No. So,
Do you have pickleball friends?
I have pickleball, most of my pickleball friends are in the cities, but
Okay.
I'm hoping to get some pickleball friends around
Yeah.
here. My
Yeah.
neighbors have said, oh, we'll play pickleball if there's courts here.
yeah,
Will you teach us? I'm like, well, yeah, but I can't teach you right now because.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Our pickleball friends are some who are here.
Yeah, yeah. And then the last thing I had on the list was, would it be helpful to start like a petition of people who are interested? We talked about maybe doing something at the table at the Fall Fest. Unfortunately, the Fall Fest, I got a family wedding that day, so
Yeah. So
kind of, I might be able to make it for the breakfast, but that's probably it. So I couldn't sit at a table for the Fall Fest.
Yeah, we can maybe have a table, but just not be at it or something. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is a petition a good idea or just, I think usually it's a survey that people want.
That would make more sense.
Yeah.
A survey. Again, that's gonna be outside our comfort zone. We've never done it before, but I know they're done regularly and.
Well, we've done some surveys. We just had, and Mark did one not too long ago. We did one right before that. So we have done surveys. There's different ways on when we're doing our outdoor rec plan, Stantec kind of told us, like they said, the Survey Monkey, or there's different ways of doing
I
it.
think it's fun to try
But-
one like survey on here.
Yeah.
And we'd have access to each of the township households. Through the town.
Yeah.
Cause
so
you'd need email for everybody.
Would Terry send out the survey?
I don't know how that goes. I don't know if it's published publicly and let find it.
Well, you don't
I
have
can't
to
remember.
turnout if you do that, if you have.
Or you have
access to
targeted
a list of
turnout.
Emails that you could send it to people so that they get.
That, no, because we state that we do not share the emails for, so we can put it. We can use all the normal ways that we do it. I would
But
say.
are you sharing emails if it's within town business? See, this is a town committee that's sending it out. not-
Right, and you can send it out blind carbon copies so nobody sees the emails. But
And here's the other thing is that we don't have a email list per se, but we have our list. The email list inside the website of people that have signed up.
To receive.
So we don't have
To receive
access
the
to the
emails.
email list.
No.
Okay.
Cause like I wouldn't want to get, I mean, like, I sign up to get the meetings, not to get
Right.
various emails.
Well, that's what, like in the city of the Brightwood, we use. That we would just like, if there was a certain area near a playground or something, we decide what area. And then we go to the city and then they pull those emails, because they have an email on everybody in that area. And we pull those emails and then use it, and we send out the Survey Monkey just to those targeted emails.
is there a fall newsletter that we could put like a survey in that people could choose to respond? That way you're getting both positive and I mean, you want both, right? I want everyone to be represented.
Well, what I would really recommend, I think the survey should be done. One way or the other, but I think we should have two approaches. Find out if there's really a company who does everything. They have the construction documents, they do the installation and everything, so full package.
Mhm.
And how much that would cost, because then we have something concrete. Then there's finding some grants, if they know other grants. And then the last one, I think that will be Stantec, if they do some, if they have to do the construction documents for installation, that's going to cost a lot of money. And then the project is going to be waiting for a year or two. I'm saying that based on the experience we have had.
Yeah.
So if we have the best would be
Mhm.
whole package.
A one and done company.
Right,
Yeah,
company.
I agree.
And
I
there can
like
be
that
two
idea.
companies or three companies who do the three companies, and then we can look at which are more convenient for us, but that's how I would approach.
Okay.
Another option is to separate the excavation from the construction. And then you'd have half or less of the fees. But I do think you've got a lot going for you. My wife just retired. Pickleball for dummies.
I have that too.
She would be a good contact.
And she's a great grant writer.
She'd be a good
Oh, okay.
contact for you to get part of your group
Okay.
going on.
And she
pickleball.
knows all the rules. Well,
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree, Nina, and I can do some looking into the survey too, or how best to do that. I mean, is the town due for a survey? I mean, the town's supposed to do a survey so often. They did a survey when I first started this, because we were doing the not our outdoor rec plan, but what's the town, what's it called? When the town, the comprehensive plan, they were doing that, and then part of that you had to do a survey. And with our outdoor rec plan, part of that was we had to do a survey, so that's kind of, we had just done that.
Sure.
I think we need to utilize, surveys, but we need to come up with how something that's manageable that we can do ourselves,
Exactly.
that's affordable. So
Yeah.
that
I agree.
we can use them as a tool instead of having a survey and spending a bunch of money to get.
So like you're saying is a three-way. First, full package. Second is that we can do it ourselves like we're doing right now with some volunteers from our town. And then purchasing the equipment and some person to guide us in how to do the installation. And then third would be then with Stantec. Those are the three options we do. But in addition to that, what Mark said, I think it is worth to wait maybe a month or a month and a half, because then this project will be more or less done. People will come and use it, and that call, it's not used, that will be over. Because until now, it was for the toddlers and part of it. But when the slides are coming, the kids are coming even more. So if this is a more positive thing, that will help for the next project.
So
That's
here's
my
my,
psychology for that.
Yeah.
so I agree with how you're chunking it down like that. But September, October are the magic months for money. And if we miss those 2 months for getting a line item on there, you don't
Yep.
get any money in the budget until September, October again, 2024. In between, you can talk all you want, but if it's not in the budget, it doesn't go through the approval process. It sits for a year.
So we need some
I don't do
costs.
that.
We need those three costs, equipment alone. If you have somebody who can help you out with that, because doing that all by yourself, that's a task. We have done it with the playground. That's quite a task. Maybe a volunteer from us wants to work with you. I don't know.
So we have August and September board meetings to keep them up to date and on anything that we've learned or updated on anything. And then, I don't know, when is it later in October when we do the budget?
No, budget is September and October. November, it goes to, I don't know, I think that's
So
the meeting of the electors.
So the
And
September
then-
meeting,
Then, yeah,
it'll be
that's
after the September
November.
board.
the third week of November, I think it's a Tuesday at 7 o'clock. And then that happens, and then the final number is December for the town board.
Yeah.
So we'd
And
have
those,
to-
all 4 of those months,
We'd have to approve your idea that in our September meeting is then it would go to the board.
to try and get it in the budget.
So how do we get a survey done before then, unless if we can do something at the town hall, at the town
Well,
festival?
I think the cost will be, the survey can be in the working, but to get the cost estimate, how much it will cost. I think that is the important part we have to get as soon as possible.
Okay, I'm gonna put it out.
What-
I'm not gonna volunteer because I'm gonna be upfront. In my own life, I am not gonna get this job done. So I'm not gonna take anything more on other than what I've got going on at home. So I think that the biggest thing right now, I think the survey is an important key.
Yeah, I think so too, because I mean, that's pretty
And I
much what
think
came out
that-
from the board.
Put that as a separate thing. Keep your
Oh.
survey separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what does it take? What does it take to use Survey Monkey? How much does it cost? What do we
can
get?
check on that.
Let's find out, or any other survey mechanism that is available.
Well, if you don't have access to
Problem is
emails,
to
you can't use
To
Survey
do
Monkey.
Survey
Yeah.
Monkey, you have to have an
Email,
email,
yeah.
so that's kind of a moot point.
Don't they, where the county is putting them on Facebook, and then they show up on Nextdoor, and they show up on their website. I wonder what type of survey mechanism that is.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I haven't I haven't seen that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer
Do-
to that.
Do we have money that we can use to send out postcards? We have addresses for our residents, don't we? That we could send a postcard out that says, if you're interested in this, you could access the Survey Monkey by going to this, or this. I mean.
Yeah, we could
going
probably do
this side.
that, or we can.
That would be the least expensive way to do it, is just do a postcard to every household in the town. and
That
then-
might be something, might be on something, because that would be something that could be put out. Same way as any other mailing that goes out of the town, the information is stopped, it's dropped off at the printer. This, this is what we want, this is when we want to send out, they send the bill. and it's done.
Cause it's the easiest to get the information out, and then if they go online, they can get it done, rather than having to return something that they have to mail or something like that, so.
Yeah. Or can we put it on our website, which that's not everyone's gonna see it, but put it out there, and or put it on Facebook, put it on, say, go to the, and I guess you could have the link right there.
I think you have to do all of them,
You're gonna reach people.
I think you have to do all of them to get it right, and Survey Monkey, it won't accept, it'll only accept that email once that they go on to do it or whatever.
So I can't go out there and vote 500
No,
times. Okay,
no.
good.
So the other thing is.
That'll go both ways.
Yeah, exactly.
We already have a very large email list. If you take just the people that are on committees. And that have come in, that have volunteered, voluntarily submitted their emails to the town. Be used to
Yeah.
communicate. And if you think of everyone that has submitted their email to the town for this purpose of being on committees, and you would turn around and submit them to a few more.
Did you just drive in?
Yeah, you guys want to be camped out here for a long time, trust me. It's not right up. I'll tell us right the booster camp.
Really?
No, there's all the lighting, under and stuff, there's stuff going down. Yeah. It's not pretty outside right now, so we'll let they.
Okay, well, it looks a little better than
It
it
looks
did.
better.
At least that
Actually,
tree's not
thank you.
sideways
When
anymore.
Were you baking?
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
oh, I forgot about that. Yes, there's zucchini bread.
So we have bread and we have water, so we can survive.
I'm just glad we're getting.
Okay, so survey,
Maybe
so
many,
we have to, I
more
don't
trees
either make a
fall.
decision or I need to make a decision.
Do you have a budget to do postcards?
Trees.
I think we could, I don't know what it costs. What would that come under?
Well, what terms of what?
By the time you get,
I mean, it would have to probably still come under the. We have a signage budget.
I have someone who can tell me exactly what postcards cost. 'Cause
Professional
Um,
fees. We're over that already.
And I,
Well,
I
if-
could try to figure out where the newsletters are printed out. We call them, how much it costs.
how many households do we have that we'd be sending to?
Oh,
Thousands. Man, so,
shoot, it's Mark, it's in the,
right.
How many
no,
households do
the
we have?
thing, the needs assessment. The needs assessment that I gave you. Mark. And at the beginning, it talks about how that the town is going to increase by 20% by 2040, and then it might say how many households. So I think I gave that to you. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is either. But so you're saying postcards plus Facebook plus on our website,
Well,
not just Facebook and our website?
so the only thing that's really gonna cost you is the postcards, so that would be the upfront cost of the postcards. How many households do we have?
That's what I'm debating.
See, right away, it says standard postcard stamp, 51 cents. I think
And so
51 cents.
That's what
I
I said,
would
it's
sale it.
off of a number, but you're looking at $2,000.
Well, yeah, that's why I said a
So that's
postcard, but
grand,
you're
if it's
still
half
talking
that.
1,000. So maybe what you have to
That'd be
do
too
is try to round up as many emails as you can and get it on the website.
A survey monkey. Right?
Yes,
Or-
yeah, do a Survey Monkey, but get it on the website. Does the town,
And if we all tell
are
everybody.
they
we
signed up
know-
with Survey Monkey? Is the town signed up with Survey
No,
Monkey?
that's what I was gonna say, that's what we need to start out with, what does it take to?
Yeah, because when we were doing the outdoor rec plan, I remember Sarah telling us that that was easy to do. Because we were gonna do
It
it, but
is
then you
easy to
guys,
do.
you and Mark did it instead, but.
But you have to kind of decide like how much you're gonna put out in a year. If you only do one survey, then it's not gonna be expensive for the community.
Well, yeah,
It-
and sometimes what they do is you only do, they do a random survey, I don't know how you do that, instead of sending them to every house, you send them, pick out and send 500 houses. You get like, yeah. I think so we need to have more.
not even in them.
Exactly, this is the passive.
You know, we don't have that much time,
And I think.
and this
no,
is only a
the-
one item question.
These are those.
Why don't we use our email and our, website?
Those are the 24
try
acres.
it
So we-
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all we really.
Click on
And
it.
then we
Is that all
want to
one?
make sure that we get people to respond.
So it's the whole
It's
area.
the whole
If
area,
we'd
and that
like
is the
to
old,
this,
the
and it
old
won't be
school.
that expensive.
Okay.
Who can help with that or do it with
Think
you?
if I can do.
Obviously, the clerk would have.
Somehow you need
the
to take
email
a screenshot
addresses.
of that.
Okay. Do we need a motion to give authority to the clerk or?
Yeah, I think, do we need a motion to do it, and do we need board approval?
I think it's within our budget. We can say it somewhere in there.
Yeah,
It's just email address.
but I know it, I have a feeling we should probably still get the board approval. to
Okay,
do
well, that's
the
for
bus
board
survey.
approval. I think
Sorry.
that's fine.
Don't you think, Lori?
And I think, yeah, and I think we should have.
I don't think we can just go do a survey, and that's why I kind of think a survey is probably even still better than.
And we want to, we'll have one of the, for this is the question, yes, and we want more than one question.
Okay, what do we want for questions?
So Survey Monkey, the world's most popular free online
It's,
survey.
it's not part of the Knowles Nelson.
No,
What?
It's not even part of the Knowles Nelson.
no, I have here.
She's
the-
got the plot, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not even part of what,
The Knowles Nelson is back
You guys-
further.
I'm right then.
Okay.
okay, oh, good. I'm so glad.
It's part of the same as
Can
this
you-
whole, what this building
I-
is
I
on.
think
It's
so
all,
too.
that's all
So
part of
see,
this.
this is the
I was
The
gonna
10
say,
acres,
I
and
know
here
that
starts the
there's
24 acres.
ball fields on its own. There's, we
Okay.
have like 5 towns here.
And then. So here's the playground, here's the thing, here's the old playground, so we can perfectly find it here.
Okay, okay.
You see it?
Can you send
Yeah,
that
that's how I
to
thought
me
it was.
and to
Okay.
Crean?
Cause I know we had this chunk.
Back to what questions do we want to
We
ask?
also have paperwork that's.
So I think the biggest concern that we were hearing was, will it increase taxes or
Yes.
how will this be paid for?
I did not think it
We,
was.
and I
And
guess
usage.
you guys can help me with this, and maybe Lori. You know, we have the town has a budget and we have to stay within that budget. The town cannot ever not be within their budget.
Right.
We have to stay within our budget. We can never go without our
And
budget.
that's,
That,
acres.
those things would raise
That is 10
taxes.
acres.
So nothing.
So as long as we
do
stay
is
within
gonna
the
raise
given
taxes.
budget,
Yes,
It doesn't.
that shouldn't be an issue.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
we're fine.
So I kind of wanted to say that, or someone to say that out loud at the meeting, but I don't know that I was authorized to do that. Oh, it's getting later.
well, I don't think we want to have a question that will increase taxes.
Yeah.
I think we should have maybe a couple questions. One is, do you think our community can support pickleball court? You know,
What do you mean? How do you mean support?
or would you
Like-
support?
Would you
pickleball
support
court.
pickleball court or would you use it? Would you use it? Would you use the pickleball court? And then what? Would you
Because this
support having
survey
the
is gonna
pickleball?
take into
Okay.
taxes.
I
and
think
No.
it's gonna be hard to
And
do
read
this
the steps.
here,
by first,
like right now.
Okay, oh, that's a good idea. We
Yeah.
can do that.
Okay.
Thank you, Pat.
But,
Do you want to?
I think if there is someone that could work with Kareem, like
Yeah.
one other person, then that wouldn't be,
Okay,
I'm sorry, I got a wedding and I got the festival.
yes.
Are there any of your friends that were interested in this that might be a good resource to help me?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Maureen, her sister. And then we have another friend who wasn't here, but I think was online listening. is very interested and wants to help out. So that's a good idea.
So the little.
That's where I was kind of going with the friends thing. It's like,
Right,
well, let's
right,
get
yeah.
some other people.
I mean, I
that-
have people who
and
are
so many
interested, I
people
just don't, they
and
don't even know how to play
know.
pickleball yet.
Yes, yes, and they maybe have all done surveys and done some of that. So, you and I can work together on, on maybe meeting up and hashing this out.
Yep. So to me, the three priorities are, let's get a better, one-stop shop cost with a
Mhm.
company. Let's continue to be able to answer, hopefully by the next town board meeting. Here's the list of all the courts and roughly how they're used.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think what you're doing and asking the communities and having documentation from them is great.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, if any of us go by pickleball courts, just keeping tabs on it. And I can ask some of my friends to do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, just was in North Hudson
I've done it on my.
and it, for these hours and it was packed, busy, not busy. I just think some of that kind of documentation, that's all really the best.
Yeah, my guesses are used in the morning, probably not the midday because it's hot. And then in the evenings for people that work.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think
So-
a list of pickleball courts in the area tells a story.
Well, I was wondering about putting it on a map, because then you can see the big hole.
I think that's a great idea.
You know,
Yeah.
you can see where they are and really where they aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
no, I
that
think
is a
that's-
good idea,
that's
and
a-
even just your lists that you have, and I can send that out to everybody here. To all of us, so that we all know where they are, and we can all just kind of keep track of if we're around and stuff, and I know.
Yeah, and
have
this
my
list might
friends
not
do
be,
the same.
and this is what I've been able to find by doing internet searches and asking if there's someone else, if there's other courts that you know of. That to fill it in, like the Bayport one I just found because I had to get ice cream at Maples. And I decided to walk over and look at this. I knew it was a tennis court, but I decided to walk over and sure enough, it had the pickleball lines on it. So there might be others that are like that, that aren't listed, mainly because maybe they're not in good repair or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was just gonna mention, so with the Survey Monkey, when we used to do our little surveys, we give a brief explanation. Kind of like what you did at the, on your PowerPoint, that you just gave a brief explanation of pickleball and whatever. And then follow it with, several questions, and it's good to have yes and no questions so that it's real definitive, and actually Survey Monkey actually will tell you exactly how many people yes, how many people no, blah, 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 that kind of thing. So that you get it, it is easy to work with once you get in there to work with it.
Do you know how much it cost? Did it say?
Well, like in here, like here it says Survey Monkey, the world's most popular free online survey.
I think it's
So
free.
it-
Yeah,
So you can, if you're not using it, like we started out using the free version and used that for a while, and then we were doing them so often. Like I said, that, if we had our list of parents for like our playground program or something, then we do a survey just to them. Cause we kept all of the emails and stuff when they give us, so then we started doing it quite a bit. So then we did have to pay like a monthly fee for it, but it wasn't a lot, but I think, for something like this, they have templates in there that you can use. The other thing that you can do is go online and actually ask, just see if there's anyone that has done a survey for pickleball, so that you can get an idea of what kind of questions that they did
it's a good
ask.
idea.
That kind of thing. You're just trying to sort out whether, are there people that, do you play pickleball? Do you have, are you interested in playing pickleball? Would you support a pickleball court? They don't have to be big involved questions, but you just want to see if you've got that backing.
Mhm. Yep. I think that because one of the biggest concerns is the cost of trying to figure out how to tell them this will not raise your taxes by doing this. We're not intending to,
Mhm.
do a capital campaign or anything for this. It's not.
Yeah.
Um,
No, and I think Lori, I was correct in that. I mean, anything we do is not gonna raise taxes, because if we have to stay within our budget. And the budget doesn't. Okay, so.
I think the question would be, are there other competing things that the board
Yeah.
wants to do and that they take that money and push it someplace else?
Yes, no, and like I said earlier, for as far as our budget, our things are gonna be taken care of. We do have impact fees that I think we can use them for that.
Impact fees, impact fees, and impact fees are kind of the thing, they're collected and allocated. to
I think it's
us.
good.
Yeah.
And
I'd say
they
50 to
should
60.
be returned.
60
for some that contribute
if we do it
to
all
impact
ourselves.
fees. Impact fees
Well,
are
someone will ask
attached
for
to
the
the-
concrete. I really want concrete.
But we cannot take part.
Because in order to get this line, you know, this is the normal.
We're gonna put it towards
Mhm.
building a road
To do that, it'd be better on
or
concrete
any other
than asphalt.
thing. It has to be very
Site
specific.
preparation.
Very specific.
Is it specific for the park it's collected for or no?
Yes, we probably-
Not at this, yeah, not at this time.
Okay.
It was going to be used towards, some of it was going to be used towards the TAP grant and the bike trail, but like I said, that's not happening right now this year.
True, because we're right.
Maybe next year, but it won't be being built next year, it'll be the following year. In the meantime, we will accrue more impact fees.
But it's
Say
like-
30%. That's no harm. It's like over trails and so on.
Use the tap grant money for that.
Yeah.
That's
Say $10
that's
a square
still
foot.
a thing.
So if
Yep,
it's-
so,
if it's 6.
okay, so you have your.
One
list.
last thing, Corinne, I just found out that it says on the free plan, you could have a survey that limits you to 10 questions per survey, which.
That's fine.
Yeah,
So concrete's most expensive, it'd be 25.
They've never finished 10 questions on pickleball.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then we'll connect on another meeting on the specifics of
Send you
that.
link.
As long as it doesn't cost any money, and I don't think we need a motion or anything from us,
I
and for
would
sure for the
send it to
board to
myself.
get started on that.
Okay.
And then if you want to do more research, find out if there's a company that a one and done kind of thing.
Yep. Yep, yeah, and if any of your friends that are really interested in that,
Yep.
because maybe they've just got a different way of searching that I'm not,
Yeah.
just more creative minds is helpful.
Yeah, definitely,
So,
definitely, I agree. I agree.
that construction cost thing is the hardest piece I run into that,
Yep. Yep, I can see that,
Yeah.
because it's just kind of all over there, all over
Yeah,
the place.
yep.
so I'm finding lots of pickleball club surveys out here. How long have you been playing? How many times a week do you play? Let's see, how important is it to you to improve your pickleball skills? So this is like for a club, I think definitely, how important is it to you to have a pickleball court within, whatever. So there are surveys out there.
that might be a good, how important is it to, are you willing to drive 10 miles or whatever to get to a court?
This is a lot of information.
Oh, I just turned it on.
That's okay.
But I think there's a lot of resources out there.
You just Google, what did you Google?
Pickleball
survey?
surveys,
Okay,
yeah.
And that was in Survey Monkey?
Yeah, you could just do, well, no, I just did it on Google. I just like
Oh.
pickleball court surveys or pickleball use surveys, anything like that you could use to look. And then, yeah, if you just do Survey Monkey, in Google that, or whatever, search engine, it'll come up. So it'll have it
Okay.
right there.
But we do think the town board needs to vote on that before we can push the send for Survey
the
Monkey.
Survey Monkey.
Yeah, we can't just put it out there. That's why.
Okay.
So if we'll have to have for the next board meeting.
Yep.
If we had the question, if we had everything that we need.
Mhm, mhm.
And then if we know the answer, which I think we already know it for the Knowles Nelson, and we can have that at the town board. I mean, I think we need, I can do that at the meeting. Well, if I'm
On the
there,
10th?
I might not be.
Is that a Wednesday night, the 10th,
No, that's a Thursday.
Thursday? Okay.
Okay, it should be listed.
I'm on
the
vacation.
thing. So the next town board meeting
It's 8/10.
is
It's a 10th.
That's a Thursday.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we're going up to the, I think
July
I
13th.
can zoom in, but I won't physically be here.
It is.
But we can work that out. But yeah, we can make sure someone's there, and then whatever information we have, we can let them know.
Sounds good. Anything else from me?
Well,
I waited out the storm.
You did. Thank you
Well,
so much.
Thank you for your support and your
Oh,
time
yeah,
on
well,
that.
Thank you for all your hard work.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
did a really
and
good
great
job.
job at the board meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, but I'll reach
They
out.
always are.
Okay.
They are. Okay, so Kyle, if you want to open up you guys help yourself to some zucchini bread. It's a little less sugar, so add more butter. Okay, the outdoor recreation plan final approval, so I need your help. So the Ellen, Lori got Ellen the draft, and I thought she had really good comments. I thought it was excellent, and it's lots, there's lots in there that she changed. This wasn't the most recent that she had. She didn't have the most recent copy, but I don't think that was a problem, but I went through that. I looked at, I didn't do anything, because I don't know how to do it, because now it's in a whole nother format electronically.
Could we back up? You said that she didn't have more,
This is not the most recent.
which is interesting
It
because
says December 2022, so the most recent was the one from Sarah, that's 2023.
How did she make the changes? By hand on?
No,
on each
no, she
page?
did it, Terry printed these out, that's in blue and yellow.
Oh,
It's
okay.
very easy to follow, the
Okay,
changes that
okay.
she made. But I mean, even just some of them are just, what do you say, like clerical, I don't know if the word is, and just the verbiage on some things, but it's really good. You know, like expand all season uses of, if we had our town parks, she just said it just be town parks, you know, just little stuff like that, that I thought was good, but she had some big correct stuff for the county that we didn't have that was correct. I thought they were good, but we have to decide what we're gonna keep of what she changed and what we won't keep.
how do you,
Can we?
I don't know how to do it.
I was just brainstorming on instantly here. Can we just read it through and can we hand it over to Sarah? She add those changes?
Just have her do it.
Yeah.
We could, and there's a couple things like
Will
there's
it cost us more? or
like
not?
the bike
Then
trail,
no.
the bike trail map that we have.
I'm getting stingy with that. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, well, I know, well, I kind of thought the same, like some of those verbiage things, I thought, well, shouldn't that have already been done? There's a map and she said, well, the map was incorrect. I'm like, well, let's just take it out. Well, you know that I can't find it. Our bike map, and it's not right. It's the bike map that we have and the one that Stantec just used. The county, it says County Road E and whatever that they haven't said County Road E for a long time. We haven't written out what our bike trails are, so let's just leave it at that. Why, I shouldn't have it incorrect.
so here's the question.
It would take a long time to get the right bike.
So now I'm very disappointed because I thought the Sarah copy was going to Ellen Denzer, not,
Yeah,
but that doesn't matter.
it doesn't.
So now we have the Sarah copy. And is this a case where we have to sit down and spend a day and take the one copy and go through and go page by page and
Well, we can do
And-
what we did before and do that, like, everybody can go through it and add stuff. See, it's got the 4.0 and the 4.0, so that had gotten corrected. And it's got the wrong pictures in it. I knew right away because it had the wrong.
so
pictures.
my thought would be take the one that you feel is correct. Looked at what Ellen did by page and take that copy and make it into what we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, do we want to everybody, and like last time we just everybody individually wrote on there what they wanted, and then
Well, then
emailed
we're
that
gonna,
to
then you're
Sarah.
gonna have like 6 copies. that
No,
will-
no, one copy goes to each person, that's what we did last time. Mark drove it to somewhere to. And I'm not doing 6 copies, I have 2 here, but, or we can go through it, a couple of us can go through it, I can go through it, I mean, I went through it, I'd go through it again with the finer. But I went through it.
I think we're at the point where one person can go through it.
Yeah, isn't it just
Okay.
comparing that one to the other
draft? Yeah, and I did
Yeah,
that. Or I just, and Sarah can get this same copy, you know, that's got the Ellen's changes in it, they can make those changes, you
When,
know. I think I was gonna call Sarah before and I did, or talk to her.
Well, the big problem is there's quite a bit of verbiage on some of these things that.
Yeah, that's all Ellen, all that is what she changed.
And I'll
And
tell you
then,
what
and
my,
another comment, she said, oh, why do we have the town of Somerset in here? So we have the Bass Lake Boat Launch, which is in the town of Somerset. She's like, why do you have that? But fine if you want it, but then you have to add the Orr family overlook. So then she added that information.
and I would say.
I thought, well, do we want that in? I don't know why we have that in there for the town of Somerset, but we do.
So I'll just tell you, one of the ways that you can get around that. Is Somerset has their own outdoor recreation plans,
Yes.
and
it
we just,
Must be in there.
by resolution. If we need to have that in there for them, for that Riesel Farm Road project, or is that the village? That's the town.
And
So your plan is inclusive of the town of Somerset's outdoor recreation plan by resolution. Which you should do if you're gonna do it right anyway. And then you could take the Bass Lake stuff out. How Bass Lake gets thrown in there, of course,
Yeah, I mean,
because
I'm
part
fine
of it
with
is
just
in our
taking it out.
community.
So I'm like, well, then let's just take, if it's not in ours, we can take it out. I mean, we have the county stuff that is in the town, but that's not in it.
So are you looking at a Sarah one, or are you
Or
looking
can you
at?
just put on there, this is listed because this portion of Bass Lake is located within the township? How much Bass Lake is located
give
within the
you-
township?
Well, you can't get, it might be located in, but there's no public access to it.
This
But
is the one that Sarah, this is the one that went to Ellen. The
That's
one that it
Bass
should have
Lake.
been is this.
So this is what
What
Ellen,
what Ellen wrote on. Yeah.
I'd like to sit down so that you
I
can
think
see
we
it.
should
I
put
can
it in
tell you
there
what
because
I
if-
don't.
If you're looking at it.
I don't
you
need it.
want
I have
to
so many
open another
copies. It's
boat
just-
launch, Cause you don't know that
You have
boat launch
one
is
of
already
those?
there, but you.
I think this is year number
Yeah.
2.
It's kind of like not all the state park is in there, but we mentioned the state park.
Yeah, but we don't put it, we don't give any details other than that state park.
And
There's X amount of acreage in
But I
town.
think, but the park, the Bass Lake Boat Launch is in the town.
And then it's ready to make new one.
well, no.
I know, but
no,
it's
this-
still-
That's the new date.
You have, a certain amount of Bass Lake that's.
That isn't, yeah.
So that
That's
you're
probably
basically
why we have
telling
it.
people that we do have, there is a boat access there.
Yeah.
And that we shouldn't be putting in a boat launch because there already is one on the lake, so it's kind of a comprehensive thing.
Yep, and
I think either by putting just a little note in there that just say.
well, it
you
says,
know,
it says it's located in the town of Somerset. It says.
Yeah.
So it's fine. And then she added, so.
And
And
then
I
they
do
look at
think
it,
if we have that, we should add.
It's-
your thing too.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
what she was trying to get, it's our recreation areas, not other communities' recreation areas.
I know, but one of the things that they use it for when you're writing grants and stuff is they wanna know what else you have in the area. You know, and if like you've already got a boat launch on the lake, even though it's another community that has it, if you've already got a boat launch there. They're not gonna fund a boat launch or give you grant money for another boat launch. They
Correct.
already got one there, so.
Although we have two on Birch Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, we gotta get to that. Okay, so does anybody else want to go through this? So Lori's gonna go through it. I can go through it. Does anybody else want to?
I already went through that one.
I'm
Oh, I know,
just
yeah.
saying that this is
Take
year
care.
number 3
I
we're
know,
working on.
I know.
I'd like, yeah, I'd like one copy that.
At first, when
we
I
are-
saw it, I was just like, oh. But then I liked what she added. I liked it a lot. So I thought, well,
How do we
Okay.
get to one copy that's correct? And condensed and has taken out unnecessary pages of color or. You know,
yeah, well, some
So how
of
many years
that
has
is how it's,
Helen worked for the county?
some of that is how
She's
it prints out.
retiring.
I know she's retired, but I think she's probably a really good
Like
resource because
September,
she's really,
Oh,
she's been consistently working for the county for how many years?
yeah, a long time. And this is all the stuff she's worked on.
Yeah, so,
So she knows. it.
Started in 89.
hey, she's writing that, she knows that she's.
Yeah.
She knows her
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I thought. I agree. So, okay, well, Lori and I will
It's
go
probably
through
the
it.
last time we're gonna have that.
Do you want
kind
to
of-
either write it on something that you can email me, Lori, or write it on there and then I will get everything to Sarah. Yeah, well, I wrote it, but it's not, oh, you mean the printed one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have one, but I
because I can tell you where it is online. It says Sarah. It's Sarah Outdoor Rec.
2023, I
Yep.
would know here, should be in the Google Drive.
Yep, it's under working docs.
How much rate?
And I got a copy at home and I just want to verify that, what we know, instead of December.
Only could have
Came
done
pretty
over the
quick,
whole
though.
night.
It says
I know, I
April
wondered what lunch
2023.
It's kind of coming in sheets on.
Pictures different too.
Okay, so I have another draft if anyone wants to look at it.
Okay, On another note, that cake is wonderful.
Oh, is it?
It is really good.
Very
Thank you.
Bread is good.
Okay, so that's outdoor rec plan. Okay, Sandpiper, I think I already told you that they said everything was great.
Okay.
Good. Nothing else. I don't know. I didn't ask that. I just said, do you have any concerns, any questions? They didn't say.
Okay.
Right, don't stir.
Okay, the parks. Okay, discuss town hall park and preserve area. Discuss slide area updates and dates of work. So, Mark, you are going to rustle up Chris and,
And I have nothing, and we don't have the slide, so.
and,
Just say until the equipment is unloaded and on the ground, we can't schedule anything.
okay,
Nobody's gonna talk.
So
okay, and then we'll
Chris
just
had
need,
mentioned that, didn't he mention that he wanted it delivered to his site?
Yeah, they.
yep,
got
and
it.
that's what's on the,
The
It has
thing?
to go to the
Okay.
site, and
Okay.
because he's got the equipment to unload it.
Yeah.
And store it.
Yeah, no, I was at the meeting. I heard that.
Okay.
I was just making sure that that someone called or that they knew that they were supposed to do that.
Yeah, they're aware of that because the paperwork
Yeah.
that the order that was corrected to the town before they gave the town the figure 24,000. It says right on there that it's going
Okay.
to him and his address.
Okay,
so as soon as the equipment is delivered, and I know that. I will, Mark and I will reach out to Chris and I'll also reach out to Brad. And we will just have to have a meeting. I think Chris might prefer not to have a meeting, but I can't work with not having a plan. And one thing is.
We need to have John.
We have John and Brad, the cement guy, and Chris there, and
Yep.
a few of us. So I'll do that as soon as I know what the stuff is delivered. Like I said, I reached out to John. He didn't get back to me. I reached out to Brad. He's out of town, maybe out of the country, out of town this week, so he couldn't come. I said, what weeks are you available? When are you available? And it was not any weekend in August, I don't think. One weekend, maybe he was available. So I'm not sure if he's gonna try to find a non-weekend. I don't know. how
I
that's
think
gonna
Chris
work.
is gonna wanna do it during the week.
During the week, okay. And then will we order the equipment and get it's not equipment, the wood and stuff for the stairs? Will we order and pick that up for Brad?
We will pick that up for Brad.
But will he let us know what he needs?
Well, we need to calculate them. I think, I don't remember if I did it, calculate how many.
You did it before, I think, didn't you?
Yes, but now it's based on the drawings from Stantec. I have to find out how many 6x6s or whatever it is, they specify in there. And then calculate it and then order it by Menards if we still work the same place. And hopefully we get it on time, more or less, that it's there available. It
Yeah.
can be outside. I don't know. if they'll
Okay,
steal it.
okay, but we can decide and finalize that at whenever that meeting is.
Okay, I can redo it again, the calculation of how much wood was needed. I think I gave it to somebody, but I don't remember.
Okay, so that's where we're at with the slide area. Anything else with the playground at this time? That we need to talk about tonight? We did the future.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking that, what did I do here? Chocolate in my fingers.
This would,
Um,
playground, based on the rain we just had, it would be a good time when we, you're just supposed to see where it washed down and how much water.
In the pond.
How much water is in the pond?
yeah,
Yeah,
that is a good idea.
At the same time, and I know how much money we have, but when the slide is installed, I said, finish up and put the plantings, which I designed to put in there. I can make a list. And for that time, calculate how much it will cost, so we can make a decision, is the money available or not? It would be nice to have it done, at least that part this year. And then if we can do the rain garden, so it's done everything and done with that. We can then focus on pickleball and all these other balls.
Have the preserve done.
Sorry, not today.
No, I agree completely.
So it
Okay.
is the rain garden and the plantings. I can talk again to Eberts.
Yeah, well, I think we decided to. I mean,
Okay,
let's still wait on that. The board will say we have too much going on right now. They won't want to hear that.
I'll reach out to Chris and Brad. About, where we're at, as soon as we get that playground equipment, let's.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Sounds good. Okay, nature
Okay.
preserve. I think we're missing a rainbow.
nature preserve.
Budget and benches. Is all I have written down there. We talked about the signage and stuff, but there's probably more to talk about.
Hopefully tomorrow we get the, I got chocolate all over.
Sorry, that,
Sorry. Yeah, it is. I'm like a little kid. today.
Need a napkin?
No, I have a napkin.
So
So,
that line item for signage, I think that is all the stuff that we've been buying, right?
you
700.
have been buying that.
No, the signage.
and
Oh,
is
the
it
signage, we didn't get the invoice
Is it
yet,
under
but I think.
signage? Is it under signage or is
It's
it?
under
preserve?
signage.
I noticed that too.
Okay, so
I
that,
asked her if they have sent the bill. They have not sent the bill, so they.
Sure.
because look how, do you guys want to leave it under signage or do you want it under the preserve? I mean, it really should come under our
So right here.
$3,000 budget for
The
the
preserve.
preserve, for the sign.
Well, they have
Otherwise-
3,000
otherwise-
under signage here, so line item signage.
Yeah, that's the budget.
Yeah, we are.
But I thought we
way over our
got
signage.
3,500.
And we don't want it to look
Was
like
it?
it's.
I thought it was 3.
Janet, how much did we get for the preserve? 3,500 or 3,000?
So the preserve says 2,000.
Yeah, the preserve is 2,000.
That includes the kiosk and
Oh,
everything?
so, yeah, so maybe they did, I don't remember doing that.
I thought it was 3,000.
It was 3,000 is what they approved.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yep.
3,000 or
3,000.
3,500?
So signage, that is our whole, that's that project. Under signage. And then the other 2,000 is just anything else in the preserve.
Why would they label it signage?
I don't know. Maybe from the presentation, I mean, it was kind of signage.
Mainly, all we're doing is building a kiosk with signs.
Yeah, I mean, it
posts with
really is.
Signs,
signage.
and so maybe they lumped it under signage.
Yeah.
Okay,
So the preserve is 2,000 and then the signage is,
That, yeah,
so she thinks
3,000.
this number is what they approved.
That would include benches or could
Yep,
include
yep.
benches.
yes, which
This
is
number
what we have
they
to,
approved
one of the things we have to talk about.
For us to do the project. we're
So
talking
Nina,
about.
so the signage. I wonder what that 778 is.
So
that's the
so that
signage.
doesn't include,
Oh, it's the wood.
the signs that you. So this
No.
is the material
The
I.
signage
Yeah,
for
that's what
Minuteman is gonna be around 1,200.
and I think what,
And one
what
more
they-
post and.
Right, Nina, the signage from Minuteman is gonna be around 1,200.
that's what we're estimating.
Some will
So
be at
where are we at
2,000.
then? We're at 2,000.
Well, we'll be at 2,000,
Yep. So
not a whole lot more.
we need a few more
Signage is
posts.
1,200.
There's a few more things, but we'll get one more post, but
One more
that's
post, that's all.
Yep.
not a lot. I mean, that's.
And then do you want to update everybody on the benches? Did
Yeah,
Jeff have-
yeah, I have a picture. Did you get the wood? No, from Jeff?
No,
Oh, okay, well, he was going.
was he
to-
supposed to talk to me?
So.
No, he
1,200
said he
was
would
the
pick them up and
signage
then bring it to you.
Cost at Minuteman?
Correct.
Okay.
That's not, hasn't come into the line item yet. or-
No,
We
I
don't have an
just-
invoice.
No, but I'll just say
But
that
I
it's
told Gary to get.
Yep.
approximately. Okay.
So I'll talk while you're doing that. So, in the presentation that Nina and Jeff did, Jeff had mentioned that
So those are the slabs.
Okay.
He had mentioned that his neighbor,
Looks just like
who
the
lives
slabs in the
also
garage.
right next to the park, would donate benches.
The cherry wood.
So the neighbor is gonna donate,
This is oak,
the neighbor's gonna donate 3 benches?
three slabs. He doesn't say the bench.
Okay.
So those are the slabs,
Oh, beautiful.
and they're like, that thickness, like almost 2.5, 3 inches. Yeah.
And then we need to get 2 more.
And then I went with Jeff
So
to his
is he an
house.
unidentified donor?
But,
No, we'll identify him
but we
at
need,
some point.
what about the structure to hold up the slabs?
Yeah. And with
And
Jeff,
they're
I
out of-
went to
what
his
did she
house
say they're out
because
of?
I have some.
She said
large
oak.
Tree stumps, but they were too big.
Wow.
So
those are
anybody
beautiful.
who
Would you
has
like to
fallen
play that
down
down to a
trees,
table?
stones or.
To what?
And they're
Play
they're
that down
nice
to a
and
table or
size, more or less.
something?
Oh,
You
well,
can use this.
I have a bunch of slabs.
It's really.
If they're cherry, they're actually marked.
Oh, cherry would be beautiful.
So it's Mark's tree.
Okay.
Oh,
shall I
is it?
go over to your place? and
Levi.
go
Over
over?
My place.
Levi?
So it'll be.
Is
10
that first
tree
name or
stumps
last?
because it's 2 for each.
That's his first name.
bench. We're
I'll
planning on
just
5
say-
benches.
Levi, Levi.
We could probably cut the tree stump in half. If one happened, so.
Oh, though, that's cool.
Okay, if the,
But-
if the.
They're big.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
How are they gonna
Good.
support the?
Because otherwise we.
On a round tree stump, and Mark says he has some tree stump at his house. And if they're really big, we can cut them in half, have half on each side.
Is that dug in the ground or just on the ground?
Those, well, that's another thing, how do
They've been
you?
Because it-
pulled out.
Will it be tipping over or is
Yeah.
it?
They've been pulled out.
How about if we just find a couple of those ugly cedars and whack them up and use them?
No, that, they would last a long time.
Well,
You
if
can
there's,
look
but
at-
that, there are 10 supports, so it's not only 1 or 2 cedars, we have to have them in more or less.
you can look
Cedars
at what I
would
got
work,
in
but they have to be a certain good diameter, you have seen, those
Otherwise,
boards are
it's just like a
wide,
tip.
yeah.
They're only probably 18 inches off the ground, right?
Yeah, that's true. And another thing is, yeah, if we put them in the ground or we put some concrete. And some screws, bolts screwed inside the post and then we stick them in the concrete, then they cannot move them also, otherwise. I don't think they will come with any vehicle to remove them from where they are,
Hopefully.
but at least they will be stable and they cannot fall over. That is one way of doing. it. If they're cedar, maybe we make them longer, so we stick them and put
Stick
in the
it right in
ground.
the ground. Yeah.
So, well, this is a project on the go.
I thought we were gonna maybe buy a couple benches since he was donating, but
Ah,
That's what I was
another thing,
gonna-
he is donating 3 slabs.
Yep.
And each slab, if we buy some 2 more, is $75. So
Okay.
which is,
Perfect.
they're
So, yeah.
rough, so they have to be sanded, they have to be treated, they have to be prepared so they can sit on that and. And put some protection, they're dry,
he won't do that.
no.
Yeah.
No, somebody,
Somebody. What was that place that, when you did work on your house, wasn't that a sawmill that, do they do anything like that?
Oh, I don't know.
No, that'd be expensive. They're
They're
expensive.
expensive, yeah.
Okay, so do
I
we,
can-
do we want to agree? Is everybody okay if we buy a couple since they're donating 3, so it's 75, so it'll be $150?
We need
and
5.
we'd Still have to.
I
we
think
have
at
to
least
budget.
4, and I
Five,
thought
few.
the next one,
Okay.
when you get in and you, after it starts splitting, to put their bench so you can see the whole valley, because I was envisioning, some people are walking, somebody's waiting for somebody, so you have place to sit while you're waiting for somebody to
Yeah.
come back to the car.
Get it
And not
right,
right
just
by the
the
parking
slab.
lot, but a little bit further and enjoy the
Okay.
view.
Okay.
So I thought
Maybe
5,
About the backside of the key.
I guess not. I thought he would.
yeah, somewhere in there.
Because that'll.
Maybe,
Yeah.
Kyle, maybe we can talk Jeff into finishing them.
There you
Maybe he's done with his project now.
there you go.
Can you bring them over some of
I mean, I
the
don't-
banana
I
bread?
know what material you want
Yeah.
to use. I'd like to use oils. I don't like anything that cracks.
Well, as a product to protect them, I know we have used it and they use it for log homes, sickens. It's a special material which protect the outside world for log homes.
The outside will last for many years.
It's called Sickums.
Sickens.
Sickums, how do you spell it?
Sikkens, and they sell it here in. Where is it, Abbott or whatever?
Sickums.
You don't find it in the Menards, but there's this,
Please.
Yeah, it's been around.
it's an oil, so it's not a varnish, it's the
An
oil,
oil
Yeah.
that goes soaks into the wood.
yeah.
Once again, spell it for me.
Sikkens, Sikkens. Something
Okay,
like
well,
that.
we can ask Jeff about it, because I think you said he's gonna be talking.
I went with him to his house to see his logs, but maybe we're like Mark says, he has oak logs, they're nice.
Mhm.
My concern is they have been standing in the ground for a long time.
Mhm.
So then they can start being a little bit mushy on the back or maybe
Yeah.
too
the oak will
moist.
get mushy.
Yeah, so if somebody has cedar,
Well. We have cedar. I mean, I have one cedar, but I don't, some of them are about this size.
okay, well, maybe,
And we could dig them in the ground too, if
okay,
needed.
yeah,
Okay,
I will come over and we talk about them that.
sure.
That
I
would
mean,
be-
I got a stack of logs that.
well,
I'm not sure what I'm gonna do
Whatever you
with yet.
decide, but, should I can make a motion to approve or to go ahead and buy 2 benches for a total of $150.
I'll second
To
it.
buy what? 2
2
bunches?
more benches. Benches for
Well,
150.
2 slabs of wood for benches.
Okay.
Bench light.
Slab.
Bench slabs. And Pat seconded. Any discussion on that?
No, that's
All in
fine.
favor, say aye.
I,
Ah,
I mean, it fits in our overall budget, so I don't know if we even need approval.
No, probably not. Well, I just,
I mean, because we're buying other materials.
it's
Under
just,
that-
Kyle, it's just us approving.
Okay,
It doesn't go to the board.
okay, this isn't for the
No,
board.
no, no. It's just us all agreeing that.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? No. Put benches and budget. Talked about that. Oh, the barriers, we talked about maybe barriers in the parking lot or something.
So right now,
well,
the wildflowers.
So, yeah, the
You
wildflowers. are
can't,
out.
you can't really drive off unless you go right through the wildflowers.
well, that's why I said the last time I was there, I said.
It's
"People are
actually
really
working
driving
just
through
fine,
that?"
but it's,
Last year it wasn't like that. But
no,
now
they
it's-
filled in
It's
really
really
nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
but we were mentioning to remove those metal posts
Oh,
and put the front, so there will be 3, what was it, 3 or 4 more 4x4s?
yeah, do you want to get them all and do that or?
Yeah, and you have a match, they match the signs.
Yeah,
You want the little points?
Posts that are out here now. Out.
Those yellow, yeah, they're not,
There's
they're
metal.
loose. I
I
mean,
did see one of them.
they would come out easy, especially with my tractor. I could just pull them out with them.
And I
Yeah,
think
we'd like to
that-
have
I
the
think
same
the ugly
post that we
factor
have
was
for the
playing in there. The ugly factor.
I don't know. It's up-
I think.
I'm not,
Nelson-
I'm a doer, not a designer, so you decide.
I
what you
think
want.
I would
I
not,
think it looks so much nicer.
I think so too. We're trying to do a nice job. It's 3 posts. It's not, is it 3 posts? I think we were removing.
I believe
one.
so.
We'll get 1 post back from where
So-
the border, so it's 4. And
Right.
then we can
And I
cut
didn't,
one of those which are in there. It's a 4x6.
and we want to move. I don't know, if Laura, you want to understand. So the one big orange hunting.
Yep.
Sign is like, it's on a post that actually, you can't quite see the kiosk because it's so big. So we kind of want to move that over with the other sign, so it's on the side and not right where you can't see, you know, it's blocking the view.
And I thought that the signs need to be in one area and not one area there. It's a sign, they're ugly no matter how.
Right.
So that's the reason if we move it. to
We'll
one
move them
corner,
all on the right side.
Kind of the corner there.
They're still very visible, but they're
Yeah,
not, not right in the view.
Ones are the most.
Okay,
Those are here, they can be side by side.
okay.
Is the Nelson, is that same size as the pollinator or a little bit smaller? Because those are really big. When you look at the other one, they normally have a little bit smaller sizes.
Well, I think I can.
It's way big, yeah.
Yeah, it's very
It's
big.
got 3 bullet holes in it too.
You go to another, you go to Willow River State, Willow River State Park for the hunting, they have a small sign.
And I was gonna say, I'd like to see the side, the sign going on. What else? Go on the side. Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where the, in the other. For the hunting side, other than.
Well, for now, we put them on the right side out of the way, and then the kiosk and those posts to make it look nice, and cut that one, so you have a nice view, you come.
Yep.
And then the mess stays on one side.
Okay, we'll have the equipment to do it.
Okay. And we can do it Friday if we can.
Hmm?
We can do it Friday if we can.
Yep, I'll bring
That's
my,
fine.
that bigger post, I'll bring my chainsaw, cut
Okay.
that off, 'cause it's bigger than my saw.
Yeah.
But will you have the post ready by Friday?
Well, we're gonna
Maybe
get
you're
them
talking about something
tomorrow.
else. I mean, you have to get them, you have to stain them. Did you stain the other one?
No, they were brown treated.
Oh, you didn't stain them, okay.
So
Okay.
I
And
just
I
buy-
have
I
some
could
brown-
just, as long as I'm
Yeah.
buying them,
Yeah,
I'll just
that-
buy
that
them.
I was gonna look for the
And
picture.
would
of it.
those be 8-foot posts too?
No, those are the short ones, they were like the.
Okay.
Those I would get a 12 and cut it in half.
You guys can decide that, like,
Okay, that's fine.
I don't know my pen. Yeah, you do.
Say 2 12s.
Okay, next thing, Perch Lake parking lot. I have two, okay, you guys better, you guys can keep.
Yeah, we will figure that out.
Perch Lake.
Okay, Perch Lake launch area, discuss possible structure around the boat. Okay, we kind of keep putting that one off, but we might need to discuss that at some point. Okay, follow up on the board discussion regarding,
I have a picture that of what the putting at St. Clair County that I.
for the bathrooms.
Yep. I thought I would forward to you.
So I just wanted to let you know that I was out at Perch Lake for quite a bit of time yesterday. And I didn't see anyone acting up. There was a plethora of people with paddle boards with dogs on them. I met a dachshund named Alice. I met a little tiny white dog named Yeti. And I met another golden retriever, 6 months old, Bobo. So everyone was having a really good time. And again, they just said that they liked the comments, like it's with the boards and stuff, it's easy to get down there with the steps, so.
Mhm.
It was nice to talk to people and
Okay.
see them, so.
Teresa had gotten an email that I was forwarded from a resident after the 4th of July that. They were upset with all the garbage that was left by the fishermen that fish up along the rocks. That there's just always so much garbage there. Okay. So that was one thing. That's what I thought was gonna come up at the board meeting, but that wasn't what came. But then at the board meeting, they talked about. On the 4th of July. It just happened that people were going to St. Croix River because they had something in it and whatever, everybody went to Perch Lake. And they can't park along the road anymore, so they're not, so they parked all the way up. The road, and so I guess it went way up, parking lot full, I mean.
So was the county
dangerously
park full too, or
But
was the
the
county?
county park closed because they were full. They couldn't.
The
they
county
can only-
park was the one that was full.
Oh, my God.
And so they
And they
were
were full.
parking out on the main road and walking into the county park.
No, they were everywhere. Well, I don't know how we can,
But that
what
lake
we can
probably
do
has
about that.
capacity.
I brought up,
Yeah.
I brought up, maybe we can have it controlled or patrolled those days, but it was like, well, what are they gonna patrol? Like, well, I don't know, just having somebody out there saying something, I don't know, but that's not an option either. So I don't know, this happens every 4th. People come from the cities to go on the lake, they're gonna go on the lake, they're gonna find a way to park and go out on the lake.
Well, they did say too that there was some reason they weren't on the St. Croix. What
Yeah,
was up?
because there were swimmers there.
Oh, the jiggers or something. So that
So that
made the crowds bigger too.
Yeah.
So there was several different circumstances that made it bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
We've created a beautiful place that people like,
Well, I know.
and we're guilty.
Mhm. We are.
You have to remove the sign on the road so people don't find it.
Yeah.
I remember 5 years ago, when we had a place that was not beautiful, people still came and they were very opposed to it because there was no reason to need them to take care of it.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think it's still, and like when this person reported the trash, this was more like where they fish. He didn't talk about like the park. I mean, I think that overall is so much better than what it used to be, like you said, the 5 years ago. And the resident who lives there, that's always at the board meetings, said that it's fine. That's fine, they're not parking on the road where they're not supposed to, be. There's no parking signs, he said that's working.
Okay, what I'm gonna say about that. That was a false statement we made, was that resident happens to be in the area where the no parking. sign
Oh, yeah.
And that resident every meeting clean until the parking sign.
I remember that. I know that.
So.
I'm just reporting what he said. So, so,
No, I won't give oxygen.
yeah. So, so there's that. I don't know what else we can do about it, but it was brought back to us.
And I did find some documents on state statutes. That govern, I would think that St. Croix County kind of was opening themselves up for some problems when they shut that park down.
Yeah,
Because they haven't published what their hours are. And they denied access to water.
yeah. But they only have so many parking spots. I mean, I've been there. I've been there and had to go.
But that's
out.
no different. We only have so many parking spots.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And we do not have a safe place on the roads. We have no shoulders.
no.
And. You know, when we.
So do we on busy days or hot days have somebody pay someone to go out there to say we're closed or you can't, if the parking lot's full?
oh, we had a police, right?
For that to be effective, unless you've got St. Croix County sitting there with their lights in the car and standing there in uniforms and a gun, and I don't
Yep.
know. That it comes at a price, not only just,
If someone comes there and they park at some place that they can park at, and want to walk to that park, how can we stop that? How can we control the crowd at Birchlight? We
I
can.
don't. I
Cause
don't-
then if we have no parking up that road, then they'll go park on E or something. I don't know.
They
Otherwise, less.
eventually they will come to preserve and park by the preserve and walk to the park. And they don't even have to pay.
Well, it's about a 4-mile walk round
Yeah.
trip.
Well,
Yeah.
only some
But I
hikers
think
will do.
Even I did half of
Let
that.
do is try to obtain land. Make it so that they can get to that.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're not
Yes.
planning to sell anything in that neighborhood.
I was gonna say, you know, gonna be. What, 50,000 or more an acre, land in the town of St. Joe to. The parking lot in. By the
What other,
I'm not feeling that is anyone gonna just say, well, here you are, folks, I'm gonna start hard. Gonna give you an acre and a half and make it into park.
Yeah.
but those are, Lori, those are just events for 4th of July. How are they dealing when they have, for example, the Renaissance Festival in the cities? Or maybe what you have to do is a couple of students, pay them some money and they do valet parking and then put far away a lot where they can park.
Well, I'm gonna give you a better example yet. Homestead Park has several events out that were held out there this past 12 months. And they had shuttles running from a Schottler piece of property for a Schottler relative.
really.
And St. Croix County is gonna have to think outside the box, and if this is what's going on, maybe there's gonna come a time they're gonna have to people will have to park someplace else and be shuttled into the
Yeah.
area that they wanna be
Yeah.
into. Because if they can do
Or-
that for,
Little place on the corner that has weddings and stuff there.
I think that's where it was.
Oh, okay. Cause they have parking there, and if they had a shuttle going back and forth or something. Yeah, that would be an alternative.
Hmm.
So that's on the county, not us.
But that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say, so if they really wanna do it, they can, but does that mean that the town of St. Joseph needs
I
to
don't-
do that? No. We are not advertising an event, we're not collecting any fees,
No, correct.
none of these other things.
What is the question to us then?
There isn't,
There really
It's
isn't.
just an
it was
FYI.
supposed To be brought up to discuss it. And
I forgot a few things about the nature preserve, about the signs. Can we go back to that one? At least I have a
Sure.
list. Yeah, sorry.
no,
Is that
that's fine.
okay?
I kind of rushed you because I wanted. So that's
Oh, because, so I have been looking at some other parks, what kind of other signs they have on the kiosk, what other information. So I made a note, for example, the no hunting and trapping buffers, kids information, November parks events, they found stargazing link, all trails link, information about the butterflies, monarchs, the grasslands birds, so have some symbol pages, and it can be photocopied from some ecological magazines or something, explaining what we have there, select what we have there, and we can put them up there, so when they come, oh, we have here prairie restoration. What do we have? How do birds look like? How the plants look like? What is this and what is that? And then-
How you identify plants on your iPhone.
Exactly, you can, application is, you can just take a picture and tell you exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So dogs on the leash, get your plastic bag when they do something or throw it far away, whatever, it's not on the trail. So those are, I think, a few things what we have to put on one sheet, and maybe one person or two person can make a list and have 3 or 4 pages when something is lost. And people find something, okay. Here, when you find a jacket from somebody, call the office here and bring it over here, and if somebody has lost it, you know where to ask for. So those little bit of information, I think, will be helpful.
Yep, and I didn't take the time to look for that. We wrote all this down. We had it at a meeting. I don't know where. that
And
is.
I took, if
I
we
was
could
gonna
have
look
seen
back.
it, I took a lot of
Right.
signs already on posts in kiosks. I have them on my thumb drive, but we cannot see it. So I think we're busy today, maybe
Yeah.
another day that
Yeah,
can be
let's-
put in later.
Yep, let's do that. You
but
can
go-
send them
go
to me and
over
then
that.
we can look at them before the next.
I'm trying to remember where I was, but I was somewhere where they had a hook on the kiosk and it was just the lost and found hook. And if people found something,
Oh.
they just hung it up, like if someone dropped a
Like
sweater
keys.
or
I just saw
whatever.
that where we were just hiking.
Yeah, they
Said
had
lost keys. and
lost
stuff.
keys and it was just a hook. It was just a hook there for lost items.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So that,
yep, that's simple.
you know, and it was under, you know, a place where it didn't get wet or anything, you know, so.
Yeah, so we can,
So
we can talk, yeah, we can.
Next meeting, we can
Yeah, but we can all in the meantime, keep track.
think about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Okay, so one other thing that we have to discuss on Perch Lake is Adam Mead from the St. Croix County's Resource Management Department sent information to the town board. He's the, let's see, as project manager for this AIS initiative, they have a grant, they have grant funds to be used to construct boat washdown stations. So they have identified a place for a boat washdown station at Perch Lake at the boat launch. And they would put it in, they would do all of it at no cost to us, but we have to say it's okay to put in a boat wash station.
Where, I read that, but I was trying to figure out where they.
I don't
they
know. He
identified
didn't
it.
say, he said that they identified a strategic location.
Because anything down below is gonna wash right into the water.
Where they
So-
want to put it is on the, you're gonna go walk it down our steps. They want to put it right to the left of the steps.
So in that ditch area there.
Well, it's on the parking lot, down the stairs, on the left hand side.
Oh,
it's in
those
the parking
stairs
lot.
on the parking lot.
The
I thought you meant the
document
stairs.
that was sent to the board had that attached to it. Showed
Oh,
that.
yes, and I was just looking to see if I had that attachment. I don't.
I didn't have an attachment either, so you're
Well,
talking,
it's
is it
from
up in
the-
the parking lot?
I mean, right, I mean.
Well, the parking
before
lot
they
would probably
bring
be
them
Wash it
okay.
before they come in.
And
They wash
Does it give it time to dry out before it, you
Yeah.
know, because you want it to be dead before it hits the water, whatever.
And I just thought, you don't want chemicals right beside it. More than walking across.
Well, so be careful.
So
I don't
what
want
is
as
the,
much chemicals as it is like soap and water and checking. I haven't, you know, it's bleach, it's like diluted bleach and.
that's what they would put in there. This is, wouldn't be just water.
but
I thought, well, at our boat launch, they have like, it's like a I thought it was like a bleach. I can ask Tim, but I thought it was a bleach.
Well, I can
solution.
ask Adam.
But what
Yeah,
is the
ask 'em.
process? Is people who come to the lake have to have to clean the boat before they go into the lake?
But it's usually after you leave the boat, after you leave the lake.
No, no, no,
Isn't it?
no, you
That's
clean it, you
before.
clean it before and
Oh,
after.
before and after, okay.
And there was no clarification on who's gonna take care of this, who's gonna buy supplies and stock it.
Yeah, so
Um,
typically on the lakes, the lake associations buy the supplies and they have people sign up to be volunteers to run it. And when the volunteers aren't there, they have a big sign that says, this is what you need to do. You need to spray down your boat. You need to look on your underside of your trailer. Cause where the things get stuck are in the wheel wells and stuff with the trailer, that kind of thing. So they don't want someone going down fishing on the St. Croix or whatever lake is contaminated and then coming back and then rolling their trailer in.
Yeah, because that has, they do have milfoil in Bass
Bass
Lake
Lake.
now, which they did in Tahoe.
And Perch Lake has it too. Perch Lake has it also.
It does.
I think so. Some years ago, they said they got it already.
I don't,
But
they didn't report that, but they want to prevent it. So,
what happens, it will bring even more people with their boats.
yeah, so
It's
so
such a
this came to
small
the
lake.
town board and they brought it back to us.
So, and the whole thing is people think that, you know, if they have a kayak or something, then it doesn't affect, it affects anything you take out there, whether it's a paddleboard, a kayak, anything that could have something on the bottom of it, so you should, if at all, just be aware of it, so and educate people so that they know that they have to clean off their whatever they're using for a watercraft.
Well, I know, you guys are busy, but does anyone want, so Adam said he's here for us, whatever questions. So I said, well, if you could come to the meeting or Zoom in, but he hasn't. I didn't hear back from him today.
Well, the thing is, the reason we came to us, there's grants, so we wouldn't begin, it would be like, well, we wouldn't have to pay for it. Pictures, so.
Can you ask them, like, what do they use to clean the boats? The, does the grant cover supplies?
And my question would be is how many of these there's, I know Bass Lake does. They hire a kid, to be at this boat washing station, so. How do you make?
What
that
are supplies, who supplies?
They supply them.
What supplies are used? The grant supplies them? Yeah, so what are the supplies? Does the grant cover the cost of supplies? Or is there whatever, does that cover part of it? And then what was the other thing I said?
Where would we store supplies if you next? You know, how much is the average annual money you spend on supplies?
And where do they get the water from? They pick it up from the lake?
No, I guess it's chemicals to spray on.
Oh,
So there's no water.
That's what my question was before they did make fun.
It's a good question, but.
They didn't, but I mean, it wasn't that they kind of did, they did make fun.
So at our boat launch, they have, you know, those pressurized, you pump them pressurized tanks, you know, and I thought it was a mixture of water and like. bleach.
but they have to get the water. They bring it from home? No.
It's good to ask
I
that.
don't know.
They have, but my point is,
It's well water though.
wherever the
Wouldn't want
water
to play
comes from,
sprayer.
somebody has. to
No,
make sure
but
that it's their
Are they
water.
coming from home with
Right.
their own water or do they have to
And it
pick up
can't be
the
right by
water
the-
from the lake?
down by
and
the
do all
lake,
that stuff?
so.
There's no
Well,
water.
and
There's no
it can it be right by where all the plants are and all that?
Well water.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Well, water's fine. But
I
What's
guess
that?
I haven't seen anything dying like crazy at the boat launch, but it's kind of a gravel road, you know, so they'll spray underneath the carriage of the boat and the wheel wells and things and.
I think it's such a small lake and putting all that up, it looks so overwhelming. And I don't know. I feel leery about that.
I think if you're gonna put anything like that, to be honest, because it's not very desirable, it should be over by where the porta potty is, and the trash cans are.
Then no one will do it
No
though,
one
if
will
it's
do
not
it.
right where they can see it or they can
Yep,
pull in
that's
right
exactly
by
right.
it.
Okay, well, I can ask Adam these questions,
Yes.
and then I can also tell him that we need more information and encourage him to either come again or. Did you say you do have a map of where it is though?
Did he show up at your board meeting? I think you should show up at our next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can come to the town board.
I can give them more time because this was just like the day
Yeah, tell them, answer
yesterday.
me. When you go to come to town. board,
These are
when
the
you answer
questions,
these
these
questions.
are
Okay.
questions we want answered.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay. What's the next thing? Thielen Cemetery. So I think we already discussed that.
Talked
too.
about
Is there
that,
any,
yeah.
there's nothing else on that? You're gonna let us know when when
When
the
the-
trap
I
rock.
would think that we should plan on doing something in there in August. And then, obviously the trap rock is in there.
Yeah.
So let's coordinate it around the trap rock. So we can-
Yeah.
Let's coordinate it when the trap rock is coming.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with a weekday either, Laura.
Well, I would say put it out there. That are available. I don't feel often, I'm more available than what I am on.
On weekends.
Okay. 35 area rest area. Lori, you were gonna let them know.
Give you a big, here's the big update on it. There is our town tractor has a cross member, I'm gonna call it, on the in front of the front axle that has sheared and is broken. Therefore, the tractor cannot be used for anything until that is resolved. So to my observation, that the Highway 35 area has not been mowed. And I don't know when it could be mowed, so we maybe will have to come up with a plan B if we want to knock that stuff down again this year.
Is it something I could? move?
It's a small area and it's on that flat part, the biggest
Yeah.
part
It
is.
was full last year, so
But I mean,
it should be.
With the thing that I do the trails with, I mean,
Yeah,
that grinds everything up.
No,
That would
I
be
think
near perfect if you could do
And
that.
how
And
much
if
of
you,
the
and if you,
ditch, is it from the ditch into the woods or?
I see County came through and they did the part of the right of way, but yeah, it's a pretty clear area when you go there. You can tell about as far as you would want to go.
Yeah, cause you can't get past
And if
those
there's
little
some-
trees and stuff.
And the
there,
only-
There's some small trees, it'll grind those right up.
That's
Yeah.
good because there's a few of them that need to go away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I can put it on my list of,
And the worst.
I don't mind, I mean,
You like to go. on the
I'd like to
tractor.
go, I just took my tractor and ground some stumps out for a friend and I do this all the time. So.
Yeah, it's not, it's that bad corner, so. I've driven in the ditch there with my Impala, so.
Well, I would probably drive in the ditch to unload, that's.
yeah, and you can pull over far enough down.
And
there
what
stuff.
you maybe could do is get a hold of, we could get a hold of Donnie Anderson, ask him. If we can just pull in and use that driveway of that, because there isn't anyone living there.
I'm fine, just going.
No, it was B and B now,
Well, I know, but if there's not, yeah,
Betty's B and B.
I'll make it work if I'm gonna, I don't need chicken.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can
Okay.
just do this on my own, right?
Yep,
that would be terrific. And there was an AT&T cable laying on the ground that I had wound up some of it.
Okay,
Um,
hopefully I see it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Well,
I,
maybe you can, Pat can pop over when you know where it is, right? Or Lori, maybe one of you can pop over when you're doing it.
so I'm around. Up until Tuesday next week. I am in town Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday.
Tomorrow I'm gonna be running to get. supplies.
Yeah, so Friday's not good.
Friday's not good.
Tomorrow's not
So it'll
good,
be next
Friday's
week.
not good.
Sunday's out
early
for me.
Friday.
What?
I said I can't do it on Sunday because
Yeah,
Oh, I
Well,
had.
Sunday might work for you.
Yeah, Sunday, well,
But just-
Sunday I am available.
But the easiest way is on that, there's Betty's driveway and then there's, I can't think of the name of the people for the next.
McGuire's.
well, I just remember the ditch is pretty easy
McGuire's
to go
old house.
into.
And
I
then
think
there's the green AT&T.
He's
pole.
got room in the ditch, cause Tim and I,
I'll just
we
gradually go
drove
down
right
the
in there,
ditch.
down in there.
No, I'm talking about the cable that was laying there.
Oh,
and
the
it's,
cable.
it's that cheap cable, so.
Oh, no. he
If
won't
you
be
can
doing
find it
anything
at the
down there.
green box and follow it through, it goes to the,
Should I bring a wire cutter with me?
I thought about doing it. Thought that'll tell them, get their act together and get it buried like it should have been.
Oh, I mean, it's live?
It was.
Oh, okay.
Cause I
You're
That won't pass.
You're gonna be blowing there, you're not gonna be blowing there.
Okay,
Maybe you need some special.
No wire cutters.
No. No, because last time they just mowed, you know, kind of north of where the trees were and stuff, and then up to where the berry bushes were.
But it'd be kind of fun because if you could go a little further, if it was mowable to the south over that gravel driveway, then we could maybe find where the old pump had, you know, the pump that used to be there.
I don't remember a well pump being there.
Yeah, there wasn't. There was the outhouse and then there was a pump there.
Huh. I guess I was too busy
Okay.
looking at the over.
Okay.
An adventure.
But
Oh,
they might have mudded that casing up. Who knows? All right.
Okay, Fall Festival.
So, we are not having any meetings in July. Everybody at the meeting, last meeting, we had, were pretty busy this month with the fair coming up and everything going on. So we will be meeting on, Tuesday, August 8th and Wednesday, August 23rd. We're gonna have 2 meetings in August. They did bring it up again at the 4-H meeting, and I haven't had a chance to, I'll talk to Janet, or Jan Gavin tomorrow night. I'll see her and I'll talk to her, because she was gonna bring it up again at the 4-H meeting and see what they were gonna do. But basically, what we found out, because Mark hasn't been here, but, the Boy Scouts are gonna do kind of a lunch. The firemen are doing the pancake breakfast, like we said. The Boy Scouts are gonna do some kind of a simple lunch available for people. They'll have a truck available for the kids to try on gear and touch a truck, that kind of thing. We'd like to do something with the playground dedication. The Boy Scouts also said that they would do the scavenger hunt on the trail. Do some kind of scavenger hunt where kids can look for things as they go on the trail, that kind of thing. Janet was gonna call the golf course and see if we can get a golf cart, if there's anybody that wants to go on the trail but isn't available or can't get around it. Without help.
There yesterday.
Let's see, I talked to the dog, the animal control officer. And I forgot his name.
Daryl.
Very, very friendly gentleman, and he is gonna come and do a little, talk to people about microchipping their animals. And any other questions that they might have, township questions that way. Let's see, we have several people coming. To sell stuff. We have the 4-H kids, hopefully are gonna bring some animals for like a little petting zoo, that kind of thing. I also asked if they could do some kids games. We're gonna have the history stuff in here, and I was gonna give Mark Simpson a call and see if maybe he would man that. Those are kind of all the things that we've been working on. So we're gonna have tractors,
yep.
bringing some old tractors. What else did we have on the list? I didn't bring my list
Some-
for that, but.
The things I was supposed to do, Mark, is there still a Friends of Perch Lake?
Not really.
Okay, I thought that it kind of, you don't meet anymore, or it's,
Well, they.
okay, so there won't be someone to talk to, or do you think they'd be interested, or,
About Perch Lake history like
Yeah.
Donna Sign used to do.
yeah,
I don't see that.
okay, okay. So, okay, good, but, and then I told you about sandpipers, I will still, the golf cart, he wasn't there last night.
It'd be really fun if we could get a pickleball demonstration going.
Yeah,
That would be really fun, just to set up a net on the edge of the parking lot and have that. I think that would just be really eye-opening for people.
yep, it would be, so I will,
Can they have a portable on the grass or something like that in the place where we
think
think?
it has to be.
It has to be on
granite
the
con-
asphalt.
Hard surface.
But
we could
But they
find it.
could
We
do
have-
just a
we
little
have a
bit-
temporary net that
Yeah.
can be used, I have paddles that could be used. So,
well, Corinne said that she was interested in doing something.
yeah, but she can't.
Oh,
She
she
hear that
can't?
she has a wedding.
Oh, okay.
So, so either if either she could find somebody who can, or if I can find somebody that would do that. But
If you can get me like another couple. Tim and I have rackets and if we got someone else who, or get a couple couples and we could set up the net, 'cause I know how to set up the nets, I've set them up before.
okay, Okay.
That will, you know, at work we had 4 of the nets. Is yours look the kind of green colored net, the metal green or?
I don't know. Do you know, Kyle, what the net is like? That's the pickleball net?
It was normal. nylon,
Yeah, I
something
don't know
or other.
the
I
answer
mean,
to that.
But does it have the metal frame, the net that holds it up?
The metal top cord
Okay.
that
okay,
you could tighten up so it stays
Okay,
tight.
What I'm thinking, if you don't have a fence around then, and we have a lot of activity going, having lunches and so on, suddenly the balls will go.
it's just a wiffle ball kind
Okay.
of thing, so, and they'll just
Wiffle.
do it just
I
for a
haven't played
demonstration.
it,
Yeah,
They'll just show it how they can kind of talk to people and,
Rackets,
say
It's like
this is,
table tennis racket almost, it's
Yeah.
bigger and it's a
Yeah.
wiffle.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, so I'll stay
It
on
doesn't
top
go
of that one and
real
then, and I'll do the golf carts. I think that was it.
yeah,
And
so
that-
that would be really good. to do
Signs,
that,
I'm gonna
so-
talk to Mike about, I'm gonna meet Mike and have him try to figure out how to put those big. wooden
So are we
signs up.
going with just the big wooden ones, or are we getting the little ones? Little signs.
$70.
You were gonna look into that.
So I haven't looked into it, and I thought I took that on to the cost of Bibles and signs. Small amount of money. They said they'd have to print something out, or, you know, how they are.
I think.
I don't know, and maybe
The
talk about one of your
school
meetings
building
or I don't,
kind
I
of.
don't, there's 8 of those big
State
signs. I
road.
didn't know that there's that many.
Oh,
Did you know there's that many?
Same company.
Yeah.
He wants to, the town wants to be again. For the
Yeah.
last name.
Oh.
But I
So
think,
that's-
I think.
I don't care what the signs are, I think they'll all do the same thing as long as we can just put like when it is and,
And do we want
you know,
all of these
So-
going in?
You know, if
Maybe the
that's-
next meeting,
Flat
we'll bring them all.
Because,
okay.
And
or do you want me
Cause
to?
we,
call
yeah,
them?
cause the next meeting is, well, I'm just getting back, and that's the 8th, and then, we
Well,
almost
I
have to
just
start
to
getting
do
them
it.
up the
After I
next
get 'em
week.
home, I'll do
We're
one.
gonna have them up a
But
month
the-
ahead of time.
okay,
Each of those,
And then
I'll cut them
I-
6 feet, cut them in half, cone them, so
So
they're ready.
Yeah, I think it would be nice,
Okay.
because we're going to use one of
yeah,
the ones at the.
Well, that'd be an extra one, we could use that,
They can use that.
Okay,
and I have one, I have one.
so signs the next meeting, okay.
I have one we never use,
So.
so I only need one.
okay,
The yellow ones. are-
okay, number 5, discuss use of,
I should,
Kyle.
sorry,
Discuss use of impact fees and acquisition of right of way for trail to 23rd Street. So that this isn't exactly, it's more just the impact fees. So, I don't know, I was definitely kind of taken back at the board meeting because I wasn't understanding what was all going on. I asked Anton to come on, but he's out of town. And so I see he's sleeping, I think, or something, I don't know. But he did send me, and Lori, you can fill in on this. So I don't know the history of why the impact fees, I think it's changing what they're gonna use them for, or the board had to. I don't, someone's not doing it. It was the parks, the fire department, and was it Public Works? And one of them is not gonna be using impact
Public
fees.
Public Works and the fire department are the only one that's collecting any, and we're the only one getting. it.
Is a Parks Committee. And so, the board asked Stantec to review, or to look into the needs assessment or the needs assessment for the bike facilities or bike trails. And then the board has to decide about using impact fees for those trails and which trail would we want to do that? So Stantec did research on the River Road Bike Trail and the Loop Trail Bike Trail, or that is called the Tap Grant Bike Trail. And so it was a 8-page report that Stantec did. I gave it to Mark to look through it. And I might just kind of read what Anton said. Stantec has been asked by the board to evaluate the town's needs for bike trails, focusing on the 2 segments that we gave them. We gave them those 2 segments. For segment 1A, which is River Road, there was a couple of alternatives, both off road.
Yeah, I don't have the.
The estimate for construction was roughly 1 million. The trail If the trail were instead to be constructed within the town's existing right of way in the ditch area, the cost estimate was roughly $6 million. For segment 4A, only one proposal was presented, and that was the cost of 1.6 million. So the plan commission reviewed this, and they recommended to the board that they approve impact fees for the more expensive alternative, which is the right-of-way alternative for 1A, which is the River Road. This would set impact fees at about 4,700, which is comparable to where impact fees were a few years ago. I think that's the 4,700 per household.
It isn't a household, they're collected on building permits.
Yeah, so, and then at the town board meeting, the board looked at the cost for the on-road alternative, about 7.6 million in total, and decided that it was too much for the town to spend on this trail system. So rather than approving the lower impact fees associated with the off-road alternative, since the board believes there is still no possibility for the town to
Yeah.
acquire the necessary land, the board directed
I only need
Stan
one.
Peck to revisit the impact fee assessment, focusing only on segment 4A, in particular, the Creasel Farm Road segment. I don't recall if they had asked for the segment along Highway 64 to be included. So, so there was a lot of discussion, and I kept bringing up that 1A is not in our near future. The River Road is not in the near future. The county wants to do that at some point. The county's still working on that, and it's gonna be a long ways away, and it's always gonna be very difficult to do River Road. This is the segment that we want done, so that we can get the tap run. I honestly, I don't know where, and then Lori brought up, I think you brought up, well, what about the right of way? The right of way segment, that's really all I think that we wanted to know about. Is that part, and I don't, what was the answer on that? They had it, I remember, I think Lee said, well, I know, Lee said that's not what we were asked to do.
That's what we wanted the answer of.
Yes. So a lot of money, fortunately, this is coming out of the plan commission's budget, not ours.
But it's unnecessarily.
I don't understand at all why this was done.
Now, we'll see what comes back. That was my question.
No, that's over here.
Yes.
And that's for the.
Goal was
We
to
need
walk
at least
Vision Farm Road in town of Somerset.
But over here, would they?
Yeah,
but as they go through here, there's not room.
Yeah.
You
Cannot
can't
happen
drive
in Brady,
over here.
because
Yeah.
you don't need to be brought in, but they're
I
not.
think the post
There's
is.
longer party than that. And
I understand the driving.
Yeah.
Library well,
I
but
still
at any rate,
so they see, so we see this.
But the way we explained it to me, you cannot go to DOT
You don't think
and
it's-
so have this in place in our impact.
So,
fee.
oh, we're-
Our needs assessment, but this is our intent
We have the team, but.
to go there. And once
The way
that's
they did it with Fold.
and it's been approved, then we will
We'd have to
back
argue.
and discuss that. Right away. What it takes to put
And then
something
cut
in.
the chain.
So what does it take for him to do that, or what do we have to do?
Some answer for us next month, and that whole land that they,
Right here.
that they generated is rather probably. Burning problems trails. Now, what makes sense, what are the connections that the bike riders are? That's what it lays out. And then the next thing is what areas of government are gonna pay to get this to happen? Where will the land, of course, come? And then it comes down to which segments are project areas in the next 5 to 10 years. All the rest of them are proposals. All it's ever been. Not any different. I don't know why it seems so complicated and why this.
I was just kind of dumbfounded but then when I went in.
I was dumbfounded when the discussion was going on, and they kept talking about $6 million and said, you know, again. Bikes can only go on one side of River Road,
Yes,
and
that's been talked about and hashed and rehashed, we did it in
they didn't, but they
2014.
didn't wanna talk about is we have wide enough chunk going down River Road. That when you do reconstruction projects, that should have been aligned and laid out for where that was gonna go. Everybody's known for 40 years.
Yes.
And I cannot believe that you need a $6 million bike path between where our property, and we already have land on.
Part of the
Yes. Yep.
So that little chunk from there to Trout Brook Road, which would be put us on the corner of the DNR property. And I said, well, we gotta get all these other ones that don't want the DNR. No, that's some DNR, let them, we're gonna get DNR, and if they don't
Yeah.
like that, well,
Yes.
it's their problem.
So,
DNR isn't gonna let us mess with any of their properties. And I was to say they don't have purchase agreements already on those other properties that are being bought by private citizens.
so Lee, we'll come back at the next meeting.
My impression is he's coming back with more information and a different approach.
Okay,
So last fall, when we turned down the grant money, of course, it was brought up that the landowners didn't want to give us an easement. We already knew that. And then Lee said that he did approach the DOT and they were
They were on board.
on board with receiving an application from us.
Great.
So then we said we should pursue that.
Yep.
And then since then, we've gotten run around the big circle. So if we keep on that method to try and get back to that path.
And I was think we need to stop that, but that can't drop off the radar because of the process. And put it.
yeah, and I was gonna check back on the email about the TAP grant, because I even thought you could for free reapply if you turned it down or whatever, it's gonna be easy, but I think you had to do it within the year or something, I mean, you didn't have that much time.
So I have one question. I mean, so the segment they want to do is to get up to the corner of the park. Because
Are you talking River Road?
River Road up to, that's Trout
Nelson
Brook.
Farm Road.
That's the corner that the county has talked about doing. But that trail that you get on is a dirt trail. It's not a road bike trail. Nobody's gonna go down into the park from that corner on a road bike. Not
From
gonna be-
Nelson, like Nelson.
Not there either.
Yeah,
All of that is mountain bike stuff. You could do it on something that has a little bit, gotta have fairly wide tire.
Oh,
suspen-
yeah, no, yeah, they're not gonna do that.
I mean, it's a wide path, so you can,
Okay.
it's not like it's narrow, but it's not a road bike. So I don't know, if the county wants to put in a path that's gonna look like it's for road bikes, but you're gonna come into a park that you can't get in.
Well, it's interesting, it's not the mountain
Yeah.
bikers that bike out there, they bring up the mountain bikes on their car.
Correct.
And then.
They don't ride them on the
They
road
don't- They don't
anyway.
ride them on the road.
That's
so-
why you go to a park, so you're,
Basically,
Right.
it's all trying to do after their party.
but you can't get anywhere from there with the bike.
But-
I mean, I just was there again today. I mean, I ride those quite a bit now, but it's not it's not a road bike
Yeah,
thing.
I've never seen anybody ride to that side of the park.
I
to
mean,
Get in or whatever.
The trail goes all the way up to that corner, but there's really no way to access it. I mean, you could ride out to the road,
Yeah.
but nobody's doing that.
And
Everybody's
no,
going to the parking lots and unloading their bikes and riding the track.
Your mountain bike trail doesn't get you to the main part of the
Well-
park, correct?
Yeah, oh yeah, it does.
Oh, it does.
Oh yeah, it brings you all the right down to the bottom. But it's quite a trek. And
It's not a pain in the heart.
no. No,
what, we don't,
well, all I'm
Where's the
saying
river
is,
at
I don't
right
think
now?
the town should be focusing on trying to put a bike trail in there. Because it's
no,
not,
and we already,
it's not gonna be used.
And that was
No.
the point, that why are we
It's-
why going out there, park wants
Yeah.
to spend $6 million on the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah, I mean-
I mean, I know we have it on I know it's on a potential plan, but that's all it is, it's not,
Yeah,
It's not.
it's two different uses.
yeah, yes. So,
Okay, well, we'll keep on and I'll keep in touch with Anton too, or see if that's gonna be on their agenda again.
It'd be good to see if Anton can get some information for us that we want.
What do you want?
Yeah, like,
Like approaching the DOT now on a,
yeah, well, that won't be him, that'll be Lee. But,
maybe it should be asking Lee that though. Because obviously we can't get there. Can't
Yeah.
get near Lee, we can't get near, and Teresa. We tell Teresa what we'd like, and she gives us everything that is not that. And she already knows. Let's keep throwing at them what won't work. And
Yeah.
eventually they'll quit.
so, okay, well, we won't, we'll keep on it. So, okay. The review of park management plan. Thanks, Mark. Do you guys all have a copy of the biannual park work plan?
So
Cause I don't know why I have so many of them.
I made some comment on here, some,
You added your goals and stuff?
no, but I just kind of proofed it a little bit.
Oh, great. I'll take it.
Just little things. I thought it looked really good.
Okay,
The only one that I didn't think matched up with everything else that we had in there was the one.
and you can write in here, but
No, I just,
that's fine.
it's easier on
That's
my
fine,
eyes
that's
if
fine.
I do it on paper. Where's the one?
Cause I was just gonna say, if
It had a-
anybody else needed copies to get me any more updates or goals and stuff. And next time I'm gonna do this like first. so
Yeah,
we can get through it.
so I just
So
went
it's
through
last-
and just caught little things,
Oh,
you
okay,
know,
good.
like
Oh, yeah,
like that.
that's.
I was just, cause I wanted.
So much of it was copied and pasted.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I-
It was
there's
nothing
lots of
big, but
that.
I thought it read great, you
Okay,
know,
good,
so,
thank you.
but do you wanna just take it so you?
Yep, I will,
whatever,
but you
and
have your
then-
name on it, perfect.
And then so you, and
Yeah.
then I owe you your newsletter back to your,
Oh, yeah, you can have that.
oh,
That's fine.
okay. So,
Okay.
we did have one, Tim read it.
Okay.
Recycled it.
He doesn't know that we wait for those.
He doesn't
Okay,
know that I'm on the
um,
committee.
Any other comments on the biannual PTR work plan? I have to change that in our outdoor rec plan. If it's called something else and I changed it. Do you guys like this title? The work plan, isn't that how you wanted it? Work
Yeah,
plan?
I think an annual work plan or biannual,
like
annual
biannual or
work
annual?
plan. It depends on how many times.
Well, we should,
times
I
you
mean,
wanna
I
do it.
really hope to kind of look at it regularly, but
I mean, if you do it annually, then you kind of keep up on it and whatever, but if you just want to do it biannually, that's fine too, whatever you want to do.
is biannual twice a year?
Park here.
Biannual every other. year.
Oh, I don't want that one. I wanted it twice a year. Okay, let's just do annual.
No, let's do annual.
Wonder where I got
With
that.
agenda, it's like January.
Jeez.
was
Okay,
about
where's-
5
where's
years,
yours?
and then it's like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I wanted to do it twice a year. What's that?
This is a different.
What is the book through it? But I mean, I can look at it regularly before I do agendas. and
Yeah.
stuff, so. Okay,
That'll be,
Okay.
okay, great, thank you.
But, so this path goes the whole way.
Okay, if anybody else wants to get me any, you can just give me your thing if you want, with any updates you want. on it, or your goals. Did you have any updates to any of the goals at all?
Oh, you have that
Did you
safe.
get all of
My
them?
son likes
I
to
did
go-
good, I was just trying to, I just wanted to read it
Cause that's what I.
and
almost
know what it
don't-
Yeah, so
was.
The
I can-
screenshot?
I
I
would get that.
can do
Okay,
that.
do you think the board needs to look through it?
Yeah,
Or I should show it to the board? I can show it to Teresa,
Sticker.
okay.
cause something she asked me to do.
Park there and
So
then-
it's when you go
Like 4
once
years
and
ago.
follow this on the right side going south. There's a kind
There's
of.
there's a parking lot and
Yeah.
you get right on the path right there.
Okay.
And you can just do this loop if you want, or when you get up here, there's signage.
To learn to go on bike. I know how to ride a bicycle, but I would like to go exercising.
Yeah, so
Like the
this,
fresh air.
this was 8.5 miles. I did.
As
it
I
now.
came out of this, the
It was
microphone.
I would
pretty
probably-
hard. That was a hard,
Probably 3
Back
hours.
down.
it was a hard ride, but
Oh, you can turn it back on.
it was a heart rate was up there. But
Okay.
I thought you'd be interested. to see,
The next
This is-
meeting is August 16th.
you know, right up next to the
Yeah.
river here, but
And then the red
I
one
think
is the
that's the
most.
one I
difficult,
might,
the blue
I'll
one's
let
the
you guys know, I
most
think we're gonna look
Uh,
on,
that's
but I
my-
think.
Oh,
I
that's
can-
the speed.
my speed.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. Do I have a
So
motion
I'm
to
obviously
adjourn
when
the
I'm
meeting?
finding it slow.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Going down,
I'll
you know,
second
all
it.
the way.
All in
you
favor,
get
say
down,
aye.
it's quite fast.
Aye. Kyle and Nina, do you want to adjourn or do you want to keep talking?
Adjourn. Yay.
You're getting the yellow